If Reynolds doesn't succeed, okay, see you later. We got a guy that will just drop over there at Z. That's how I would look at it if I was in that seat. But you always have to look at where it starts, though. The offensive line, like the trenches, is where it starts. I would tell you this personally in college. We had multiple guys who were very skilled receivers that were capable of playing at the next level, whether it's arena, CFL, but our O-line was trash.
Seahawks are up.
With the 56th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Seattle Seahawks select Dwayne Eskridge, wide receiver, Western Michigan.
Boy, that's such a typical Seahawks pick.
It sure is.
Yep. Ooh, that dude out there, you talking about juice.
Yeah, he got some juice.
Their receiving core is juice.
I was going to say, how many? You got to have 15 corners to play the Seahawks now.
I mean, well, first of all, you need Optimus Prime to go against, you know what I mean, DK.
Man,
and then
he's
you
a
got
dog.
Tyler Lockett.
Oh,
and now you got this dude, too. Woo.
Man, he picks him up and gets him going, man.
Yeah, look at that.
I mean, look at that. He just ran. I mean, look at that.
He was a track runner.
Yeah,
he was a track runner.
And he's in the slot, too.
He's in the slot. He could play outside, too.
Okay, what happens if
The Rams are on the clock at 57. We'll take a quick timeout. We'll come back. We'll start thinking about the third round and the Titans with their 2 picks in the third round. That's coming up next. Our sponsors here for the draft shows. We're live at Boomba's Craft Pizza and Tap House in East Nashville. We'll also have the Dylan Radins press conference, which is coming up right around the corner. It's ESPN 1025 The Game. Welcome back to the draft show. It is time, though. The Titans' second-round pick, Dylan Radins, out of North Dakota State, is meeting with the Nashville media.
Dylan, can you talk about the jump that it's going to be going from 1AA FCS into the NFL, and what do you think that adjustment will be like?
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, there's faster, stronger guys, and I've been putting in the work this offseason, been putting in the work since my coaches thought I could go to the NFL. So I've been making sure I've been going up against those opponents, and I think I proved myself well at the Senior Bowl. I was able to perform well against those guys, and just continuing to get stronger, get faster against those high-level opponents is going to be huge. So just continuing to get better, not thinking that I made it at any point in my career. So doing that, and I think I'll be very successful.
John Glennon.
Hey, Dylan. Speaking of the Senior Bowl, obviously had a great week there. What did you do, because obviously you only played the one game this past season, but what did you do to train for it? And what did you feel like you really excelled at the Senior Bowl?
Yeah. So just what I did training, like you said, only one game. So I flew out to California immediately after that game, went to train with Joe Staley, ex-49ers, future Hall of Famer. So he was super good in my development. He was a huge testament to that. So shout out to him. But yeah, I did that a lot with previous NFL players. I worked with Paul Alexander. He was a previous NFL coach. And so just worked with a lot of NFL guys to get myself ready. And yeah, like I said, I performed pretty well. I think just being able to bring that nastiness from the FCS, NDSU power style football to the Senior Bowl was a huge benefit to me. And I think it showed.
Paul.
Hey, Dylan, could you tell us a little bit about who else you thought was how interested did you think the Titans were, and who else did you think was coming after you maybe?
Yeah, there's a lot of teams that showed interest. I sparked a lot of good relationships. It was great to talk to a lot of GMs and coaches. And yeah, I met with GM down at the Senior Bowl. We were talking about Taylor Lewan, talking about Derrick Henry's running style. I mean, built a good relationship down at the Senior Bowl. And through the more of the off season, I was able to get on a few Zoom calls with them and built a good relationship. And wasn't exactly expecting it to happen where it happened, but was definitely super excited that it did. And Tennessee was always on my radar, and me and my agent always talked. They weren't exactly number one, but they're definitely, I'm happy to be here. So it was a good pick for me, like I said.
Luke.
Dylan, what do you think is the next step for you as you continue to develop your game for this transition to the NFL?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's meeting teammates, getting around the offensive line, getting the playbook, getting around the offense coordinator, getting to know the whole team, the organization, and then just putting my nose to the grindstone and grinding out and getting ready for this upcoming season, because I'm definitely going to want to be thrown in that starting five. That's just a competitor in me. And if not, I want to help this team win a lot of games. So just getting into the organization is going to be the next step.
How have you tried to keep in shape and keep in rhythm after only playing one game last year because of COVID?
Yeah, for sure. It's hard. Thank goodness I had the Senior Bowl to help me stay in football shape. We always say that. I mean, you can always condition, you can always lift weights, stuff like that, but there's something different about hitting guys. So being able to just hit pads, being able to train with other offensive linemen, they understand the physicality of the game. So having them hold pads for you and stuff. So it's been difficult, but at the same time, I think I did a good job at it. I think I showed at the Senior Bowl, and we'll continue to do that through OTAs and rookie minicamp.
Teresa.
Dylan, playing in NDSU, what is your strength? Are you a better run blocker, pass blocker? And you mentioned talking about Derrick Henry's running style. How excited are you at the prospect of helping block for the NFL rushing leader?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. So I think both my games are gonna transition really well to the NFL. We are a power run scheme at NDSU, so being able to run block, I'm able to come off the ball. And then we had Trey Lance, obviously, so we let him air it out a few times. So obviously pass blocking, there's always going to be things to work on, but I feel like that'll transition really well. And then, yeah, like you said, blocking for Derrick Henry, that's going to be awesome. I mean, he got the 2,000 yards last year, and I listened to Taylor Lewan's podcast and stuff. They're always trying to get him to break that record. And yeah, whatever I can do to contribute to help him get that. I mean, he's an awesome running back. It's going to be an awesome offensive line, and just excited to contribute.
Aaron.
Yeah, Dylan, you mentioned the things that you were able to do at North Dakota State and why it would translate well. And you also say that you want to be in that starting five. Obviously, right tackle is a position. You played a lot of left. What is it about your ability to transfer to the other side, and what type of challenges do you think that presents for you?
Yeah, obviously I played a lot of my career at left tackle, so just switching over, that'll probably be the first challenge. I've been working on it in the off season, doing drills and stuff with the right tackle. If that is the position they want me to be at, So I've been working on both sides of the ball, switching up my stance like that. So that is probably the biggest challenge. And then, just making sure everything, you're dotting your I's and crossing your T's when you switch over, making sure the play calls are right, stuff like that. And as long as you do, I do that well and then follow what the coaching staff tells me to do, I think there'll be no problem in the transition.
And then with you not coming from a Power 5 school, that's one of the first things people say, oh, North Dakota State, what the heck? But talk a little bit about just the style of play and how good that football is that you guys played in that conference.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a pro-style offense. Obviously, yes, we're a heavy run team. We love to run power football. We do a little outside zone, inside zone when we need to, but we run everything under the sun there. I've run all kinds of plays, split protection, all this stuff called Mike IDs. So I have no problem about transitioning into a next level offense. Just being able to do that at NDSU, I think that's why we produce a lot of NFL players, or are starting to produce a lot of NFL players, especially with quarterbacks, and we produce 2 other offensive linemen. So there's a jump in skill, but other than that, mental wise and just running an offense like that, I think it'll transition really well.
Lemon.
Yeah, Dylan, I don't know how familiar you are with the personnel on the Titans offensive line, but they've got some guys, who are going to compete also at the right tackle spot. I mean, would it be I know you said you're competitive and you want to be in that starting 5, but if you don't end up there, is it a good situation for maybe you to transition into the NFL that first year and maybe to learn some things and to strengthen as well?
For sure. First and foremost, like you said, I'm always going to want to start. I'm not going to speak it into existence that I won't be, but like you said, if that for some reason happens, I'm always going to be competitive. I'm always going to want teams to win. I'm always going to want my team to win. So I'll push the guys in front of me and make sure they're on their P's and Q's about that. So it's going to be a competitive atmosphere. We'll get after each other, I'm sure. I'll get pushed around a lot. I'm sure they'll get pushed around, whatever it may be. But ultimately, the team's trying to win a lot of games. So whatever we can do to do that, I'm sure that'll be the end goal at the end of the day.
Dylan Radins, offensive tackle, 6'6", 301 out of North Dakota State. Mark Howard, he brought up, without being asked, he said, I want to compete for a starting job right away. Maybe it's hard for me to see a guy who didn't play football last year starting at right tackle this year for the Titans, but there is, in theory, an opening there.
Well, and I think the Titans would tell you that he is everything that Isaiah Wilson isn't. This is a guy, who is, coming in, maybe an overachiever in a certain sense, but upped his stock at the Senior Bowl, which to me shows, awareness and ingenuity. And he obviously impressed the Titans. And, the Titans have learned they want to find guys who love football. And you could get that, from this guy. So, we can sit here and quibble over if it's a good pick or a bad pick. We thought it was maybe a reach. But at least to me, he's got the stuff. I just don't know how soon we'll see it.
I mean, at least he articulated what he wants to do.
Yes.
That I can give you. And, Chris, to Mark's point,
yes,
it does sound like he's the opposite of Isaiah Wilson.
Yeah, he is. I mean, just listen to his conversation. He's smart. He, just like you said, he articulates on what he wants to say, and you can tell he's playing with a purpose. I mean, his purpose is not to go out and do crazy stuff. His purpose is to come in and play football, and that's what Mike Vrabel and J-Rob want. He wants guys to come in that love to play football, that are smart players and they're versatile players, and I think this is the guy for the Tennessee Titans. And I know that you didn't know his name or you don't like the pick, but it's a good fit for the Tennessee Titans, even if it's not a sexy pick.
I didn't say I didn't like the pick.
I
have made a commitment to never saying that I hate a pick.
You did.
Because I don't know. Now, did visibly and emotionally I clearly not like this pick? I mean, I think we're all friends here. I'll say yes. But that two-tone blue update is presented by MTGRT.com. Let's go inside the locker room. Chris Sanders, inside the locker room, presented by Freedom Tire Guys.
Yes.
What do you think? Kendall Lamb was signed, kind of a backup guy at right tackle.
Mm-hmm.
Ty Sambrailo was the Titans' swing tackle a year ago, and now Dylan Radins in at tackle. It looks like maybe perhaps a three-person competition for that starting right tackle job.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about having depth. The Tennessee Titans want to have depth. If you look at last year, they were rotating a lot of people in.
Quisenberry,
I mean, you have people in there that we didn't know. So bringing this guy in, it brings depth at the offensive tackle. So even though it's not a sexy pick or, we basically didn't even know his name, but it does bring depth and it brings an attitude and a smart, versatile player for this Tennessee Titans team.
I think you're going to see a similar transition to what we saw with Nate Davis a couple of years ago. The Titans drafted him, and obviously coming from a non-Power 5 school, he needed some time in the weight room, needed to get his feet under him, and then they threw him in there. And believe me, it was more sink than swim early on, but he's gotten his feet under him, and he's turned into a very solid right guard for them. And I think they feel the same way with Reynolds.
Just to recap the rest of the second round so far, the Panthers are on the clock. Their pick is in. We'll get back to taking picks as we reset with the Titans. Indianapolis at 54 went Deo Odengbo out of Vanderbilt. Pat Freiermuth of Steelers at 55, tight end out of Penn State. Dwayne Eskridge at 56 to Seattle. Tutu Atwell at 57 to the Rams. I, as a Louisville fan, think that's a terrible pick. Nick Bolton, the linebacker from Missouri, is the Chiefs' first pick at 58. Chris Sanders, anything about those picks stand out to you?
Say those again.
Any of those picks stand out, whether it's Tutu Atwell or Dwayne Eskridge to Seattle or Pat Freiermuth to the Steelers at 55?
So Tutu's gone, right?
He's gone.
That's the guy I was kind of hoping that the Tennessee Titans would get.
Oh no, he does not catch the ball.
He may, but we still need a slot guy. I mean, who do we have in the slot?
Like a slot guy that can catch it.
I mean, I know
Carolina at pick 59.
In the 2021 NFL Draft, the Carolina Panthers select Terence Marshall Jr., wide receiver, LSU.
There he goes. I like those big-time receivers, especially Carolina. I mean, those guys are big. Their catch radius is off the charts. They don't like the small receivers, so I think it's a great pick.
And we don't like big receivers.
No, I'm just saying that's the kind of receiver that they like, and I'm just surprised that he dropped that low because me and TD love Terrence Marshall because he goes and gets the ball. We talked about his catch radius. His catch radius is off the doggone chain. So great pick for the Carolina Panthers.
I would agree. TD?
That's really sexy, man. You got DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson,
big,
and him.
Huge.
Big, strong,
mean,
powerful.
Catch radius.
Yards after the catch. That's going to be nice, man. That's a really good pick for the Panthers. And Sam Darnold, I mean, he's going to have a lot to work with.
They picked up Darnold's option here, so they're serious about developing him into a franchise quarterback. TD, when you were gone, one of the things I thought with Reynolds was that this could be a similar transition that they did with Davis at guard, where you're going to see them throw him in there at some point during the season, and they'll wait till he gets his feet under him.
That's an excellent point, and I could definitely see that. And actually, in my post that I did about offensive lineman being an option, shame on me, I didn't include Radons, but when I talked about Spencer Long out of Northern Iowa, and that's one of the things I said, that they could bring him along that way. And you look at how they did with Nate Davis, and the thing that was really interesting with him is he missed most of training camp, right? But then they just brought him along. They were doing the pre-game workouts, and he was out there getting his sweat in and doing his thing. And then
his PFF grades, the first 5 or 6 starts were awful, and they just stuck with him.
Yeah, I mean, PFF.
I know.
I respect what they do, but I don't always agree. But I will say this: last year he was an All-Pro. He didn't get the vote, but in my opinion, he was an All-Pro.
Well, and I'll say something else. Keith Carter, who many Titans fans wanted to run out of town in Vrabel's first year, has proven to be the best O-line coach in the history of this franchise, next to maybe Mike Munchak.
And if I'm Keith Carter, hey Chris, remember Kumo D?
How you like me now?
Basically, that's my ringtone would be how you like me now.
Yeah, he has coached up guys who normally might be selling insurance. Let's be honest here.
And the thing that I really like that he does is he rides those guys hard.
Yep.
You watch him in practice, he rides them. But then you look before games, he has those guys. Like he got Isaiah Wilson to work hard. Now, that's saying a lot. Because, I'm talking about like
just
before,
couldn't get him to the games.
Right. But before games, that joker was out there sweating, and
couldn't
getting
get him
work
off the
in.
boat.
Here we go. Here's Goodell with the Saints pick.
With the 60th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the New Orleans Saints select Pete Werner, linebacker, Ohio State.
Did they say D? Okay,
Yeah.
I'm just asking.
Jim Nagy has said he'll probably be a first rounder.
Hey, he's a dog too, man.
Yeah.
He is a dog.
Pete Werner goes to the Saints with the 60th pick in the draft. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna finish the point on Keith Carter, or Keith Carter, but that was one of the best hires by Mike Vrabel. Hey, I'm telling you.
I will say this. I was very impressed with the lack of a drop-off when Ty Sambrailo went in at left tackle for Taylor Lamar.
Yeah, and even Quessenberry.
Quessenberry did the best he could do for him.
Did you see the Ravens game?
The playoff game or the other
No,
one?
I'm talking about the other one, week 10?
Well, I mean,
he came
Sambrailo
in and help. Sambrailo got hurt.
But
he came in to help neutralize Yannick Ngakoue because Yannick Ngakoue was murdering
he was killing
Sambrailo.
Sambrailo. But I was at the one game I went to last year was the Browns game, and I thought they just went after Quessenberry the whole time. I mean, and look, David Quessenberry, it's a tall order to say, hey, you got Myles Garrett. That's like.
But look, the point is, Keith Carter did an excellent job, and we got to shout out Coach Sullivan too, because Coach Sully, helping him out, and that guy,
Mike Sullivan,
he's been coaching the O linemen
for a
as
long
long
time.
as well, outside of you and Chris, Mark, two of us on here haven't been alive as long as he's been coaching. So.
That's cool, man.
Wow. Buffalo is on the clock with the 61st overall pick in the draft.
You want to talk about one of the better GMs, Brandon Beane.
Oh, awesome.
Excellent.
And this is a big draft for them because I think the question for Buffalo, are you going to stay up there at the top of the AFC or with a tougher schedule and with people preparing, people looking at you, target on your back, are they going to fall back a little bit after the success they had last year?
I think they're gonna be a perennial contender. I think they are built to last.
I agree. I believe they're built to last, man. And Josh Allen,
he's a grown man.
What more can you say about him, man? That guy, he's turned my opinion of him completely around. Not that he needs my validation, but still, he's someone, coming out of Wyoming, I remember watching the championship game against San Diego State, man, and that wasn't pretty, and he turned it around. He got more accurate, Mark, which is something you brought up last night, and what more can you say about him? They got him Stephon Diggs, They'll get another receiver probably. They'll need to get another guy on the outside. I could see them. You know who would fit with them? Anthony Schwartz out of Auburn.
Yeah.
He would fit well with them because Brown isn't there anymore, right?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the one thing I love
and
about
he's a younger version of Brown.
Yeah.
Just a guy who can run a 9 route, can't run much else, but he's got speed.
But I like Josh Allen. His first year he struggled, but look at the jump the next year on how much he improved as a quarterback. Everybody's talking about, he kind of gets kind of skiddy in the pocket and runs. Look at what he did last year. He stayed in the pocket, he made plays, and he only used his feet when he had to, and that's what makes this kid so special.
He played that hero ball from time to time.
Yeah, he did.
And he's a guy that, he'll sacrifice his body, and you don't really like that. He's one of those ones that you got to tell him, rein it in. You know what I mean? Rein it in.
And he's a tough kid.
Definitely.
Our sponsors for draft night are Apple Collision Centers, Founders Brewing, Freedom Tire Guys, and MTGRT.com. Time for a two-tone blue update. They made their pick, Dylan Radens, in the second round out of North Dakota State. I would say this.
That hurts you to say it, don't it?
No, I don't like the pick. I'm not going to say I hate the pick because who knows what these picks.
But why do you not like the pick? This is what I'm trying to understand.
Why do I not like the pick?
Yeah.
Because I think they need to sack the quarterback.
Okay.
That
makes sense.
With Carlos Basham sitting there, I think they need to go sack the quarterback. And
so it's not so much the players, the position.
Yes.
Okay.
I would like somebody who played football last year But at the same time, having Kendall Lamb and having Sam Brilo in there, to Mark's point, he'll be able to kind of work at his own pace if he has to, and I'm okay with that. So I like that. That I'm okay with. The thing that gets me, though, is when are they going to sack the quarterback? They've got to have some plan other than just Bud Dupree and Harold Landry being out there every snap.
Well, and I'll sort of build on that because I understand your frustration. Last year, not addressing it in the draft, which I still don't understand. Mm-hmm. But then, the double whiff in free agency.
Here's Buffalo at 61.
With the 61st pick in the 2021 draft, the Buffalo Bills select Carlos Basham Jr., Wake Forest University, defensive end.
That's what. Okay, so what Buffalo just did is exactly what I kind of wanted the Titans to do, which was take one of the weaknesses of the football team, whether it's the secondary or the pass rush, and just say, okay, bang, bang, we are addressing it, we are taking care of it, and I feel like the best thing I can say about it is, well, in 2019, before his 2 back surgeries, it was elite level play right now for the Titans. And then the other thing to say about the Titans, too, is they've had 2 picks that have not played football in a year.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that, and I know they didn't get any edge rushers, but I think they're putting all their faith in Dupree. I mean, did we ever think about that the reason why they're not getting some of these guys is because they feel that Dupree is going to be ready. I don't think he's going to be ready because of his knee. And then they brought Autry in to really help, get after the quarterback. So, maybe those are the questions that they're not telling us, but they already answered in the meeting room.
And, Chris, common sense would dictate that you don't start playing Dupree every down.
I agree.
Even if he's ready at the beginning of the season.
Right.
So all the more reason to draft at least. I thought maybe they'd draft 2, and they might.
They still can.
I thought they might draft 2 pass rushers.
Yeah, and I agree. Oh, good. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
They still can draft 2 pass rushers, and the thing is, I feel this way. If you look at what John Robinson said, he feels like he could get situated. Right now, what do they need? They need a situational guy.
Yep.
Right? Alden Smith came in with the 49ers and did really well
Here we
as a
go,
situational
Packers
guy.
at 62.
Oh, man. But, yeah, before I get into this pick, I want to thank the organization, Green Bay Packers, for giving me an opportunity to represent our organization to the best I can. I want to thank the NFL for giving me an opportunity. And with that being said, the Packers fans up front, we not done yet, so I'm letting y'all know we getting one. So with that being said, with the second pick of the 2021 NFL Draft, Green Bay Packers select Josh Myers, center, Ohio State. Go Blue Dog.
Josh Myers, center out of the Ohio State University.
What a great pick.
I do like that pick. I like Josh Myers as a center. When we were kicking around the idea of releasing Ben Jones.
Don't look at
the Stillman and Company
You got a mouse
show,
in your pocket? Yeah.
When we were contemplating the idea of releasing Ben Jones, this was one of my potential targets for the Titans with that pick.
He said, De La Soul, me, myself, and I. That's the weak part of it.
I get a weak, but let's take a quick time out. The Chiefs are back on the clock. We'll reset the Titans board. We'll do that coming up next. It is the Draft Show live from Boom Boss Craft Pizza and Tap House in East Nashville. It's ESPN 102.5 The Game. We are live at the Boomba's in East Nashville. Boomba's Craft Pizza and Tap House. Ron Davenport, Chris Sanders, and Mark Howard. TD, we are still in the middle of the second round. Titans, though, with 2 picks in the third round. And I say middle of the second round, into the second round. Tampa Bay on the clock at 64.
10 offensive linemen taken in this round.
Wow.
So you have to kind of look at that and understand that run.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty solid. I mean,
It's like Robinson said, I better get in and get one before.
Right, exactly. I mean, 10 out of what, 30 so picks? I mean, that's interesting. But I want to go back to this whole thing on edge rushing. I get what you're saying, the sense of urgency. I went back to Monday's presser with John Robinson, and he said, I think there's certainly some guys at the top, and then there's some guys kind of in the middle there that we like, that we think can be situational guys and maybe grow into full-time starting end-of-the-line guys. There's some developmental guys that are going to be later that we think we have some upside as well. I think that's a pretty good depth position as well.
And TD, the other thing that, and maybe last year was an outlier, but everybody who thinks pass rusher second round, instant impact, do you know how many sacks the second best rusher to Chase Young had among rookies last year?
I would say 4.
4 or 5. I think it was 5.
Yeah.
But my point is, that's not instant impact.
Exactly.
And we've seen the Titans over the years.
Yeah.
Kevin Dodd was in the second round. Travis LeBoy was in the second round.
Kevin Dodd
Antoine Odom was in the second round.
He was in the second round, but his heart wasn't into football. Let's just cut the chase. So, look, when you look at what John Robinson said, I look at guys, Patrick Jones in the third round, his teammate Rashad Weaver. I was joking with Chris during one of the breaks. I posted some video. He abused Tyler Vrabel. Abused Mike Vrabel's son, who is a solid tackle. But you look at those guys, Ellerson Smith. Hey, listen, if you haven't watched a lot of Florida State film, watch it. Janarius Robinson, that's a guy. You look at they don't like Teron Jackson. Cam Sample is another one. You know, these are all guys. Quincy Roche, Ronnie Perkins, I think that's like third round option. Dalen Hayes, Jonathan Cooper, William Bradley King, Jordan Smith. These are all developmental guys. And then you look at Wyatt Hubert out of Kansas State. I think he's someone that could come in and help out right away.
But do you want developmental guys? We look at the Tennessee Titans, and I've been saying this the whole time, that they're a couple of players away from going to the Super Bowl. But I know that drives Mark crazy.
I just felt Mark Howard laugh.
I said it just because
I'm sitting over here.
But do we have time to really just start develop? Don't we want the picks we make want to come in and play right away?
So one of those players is Patrick Mahomes.
Those last 4 or 5 guys are the developmental ones.
Right.
But you have got Patrick Jones, Rashad Weaver. They can help immediately.
Here we go.
That's
Let's
what
see what the Chiefs do.
Tampa at 64.
Is that you?
Cleveland fans, on behalf of the NFL, we'd like to thank you for your Midwestern hospitality while we've been here. It's a great pleasure. I'm here to represent the 2021 Super Bowl champions, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. On behalf of the Glazer family, Brian Ford and the administrative staff of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and of course, the Super Bowl champion coach, Mr. Bruce Arians and his coaching staff. What a fantastic crew and what a fantastic job they did this past year. On behalf of the Buccaneers, with the 64th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers select Kyle Trask, quarterback, Florida.
That's rich.
Kyle Trask at 64 to Tampa Bay. I think they're trying to get the same thing that Green Bay's going through right now to happen in Tampa Bay.
Whoa.
Brady ready to walk out the door.
Yeah, but Brady's a professional, man. He don't care about that. He knows he's the GOAT.
I know. He got mad when they drafted Garoppolo in the second round.
Yeah, but that was – oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
He was – that was a little different. That was a long time ago. Now
that's way different.
Yeah. Now he's a mature quarterback and a mature person, and he's like, man, I don't care who you draft. You can draft anybody. You're not going to come in and take my job. He knows that.
And I wouldn't compare this at all to that situation, to Aaron Rodgers especially. I mean, they traded up. They didn't only use a first-round pick. They traded up to get him, to get Jordan Love. So it's totally different.
Right.
Jacksonville is on the clock to start round 3 as a bunch of picks are going through. It's time now, though, to take a look at TD's top 5 board still available, and that is presented by Founders Brewing. Number 1 on the board, Jalen Mayfield, the tackle out of Michigan. Number 2, Ronnie Perkins, defensive lineman, Oklahoma. Number 3, Jabril Cox, linebacker, LSU. Creed Humphrey, the center. Quinn Miners, the center out of Wisconsin Whitewater, and Marvin Williams.
Oh, Jabril Cox, yeah.
Marvin Wilson, round out TD's top 5, again presented by Founders Brewing. All right, let's reset as we start the third round here. What do we think the Tennessee Titans' plan is? 2 picks in this round, need at tight end, need at wide receiver, perhaps need at edge rusher.
I think it's going to be one of those 3, and they're going to go best player available. I personally feel Amari Rogers will be a target. I think Cade Johnson is someone that they'll consider. So that's the way I look at it. I think it's going to be a slot guy, Shy Smith. But don't forget about Jalen Darden as they get a little bit later. But for this set of picks right now, Tylan Wallace too.
Here's Jacksonville on the clock.
The Jacksonville Jaguars select Cisco, defensive back, Syracuse.
What do you think about that one, TD?
Yeah. You know, he's a guy that covers really well. He's rangy. I'm just happy. You see him right there. My guy, man, Andre Odom. He is his agent, you know, with Athletes First. He also repped Micah Parsons, Kyle Pitts. I'm just happy for him, man, because that guy has been through a lot. I posted a story that one of the guys at the Philly Inquirer posted about him, and he's been through a lot. So I'm just happy from that perspective. But as far as Cisco is concerned, I had him rated highly on my board as far as safeties are concerned. He will come up and lick you.
He'll hit you in the mouth.
He'll come up and lick you.
Yeah, but he just looks like a smart football player. I mean, he watches the quarterback's eyes and the instincts that he has when he's coming off the hash. So I think that's a great pick.
Chris Sanders, I want to ask you a question about the Titans. And again, we'll go inside the locker room, which is presented by Freedom Tire Guys. The Titans picked Corey Davis 5th overall in a not very good wide receiver draft in 2017. Last year, we were told it was one of the best wide receiver drafts of record, and the Titans didn't go wide receiver. We were told this year's wide receiver group was a really strong wide receiver class.
You'll be told the same thing next year.
Yeah.
Did the Titans, though, miss an opportunity over the last 2 years, having not used a high pick at wide receiver?
No, I mean, they didn't. I mean, look at what happened 2 years ago. A.J. Brown.
All right, they drafted some guy.
Exactly.
Come on, man.
A.J. Brown's a dog. I think sometimes we get so caught up in a sexy name, and you want to get a guy that fits your scheme. I mean, look at what they got in A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown is a first-round talent, and they got him in the second round. And he came in and he produced from jump. Yeah, he came in with a couple of injuries, but when that guy got it, he got it. You know, in the Tennessee Titans in the last 6 or 7 years, they've been looking for a number 1 wide receiver. They got A.J. Brown in the second round, but he produced like a number 1 receiver. That's a steal for the Tennessee Titans.
But is one receiver enough?
No, you got to get some more. I mean, you got to get somebody to complement it, because you look at if you look at the last receivers to get 1,000 yards, 2 receivers to get 1,000 yards was Bennett and Mason. They complement each other. They were different receivers, but they complement each other. Now, A.J. Brown, I don't know how he's going to do with Josh Reynolds, because when he was with the Rams, he was a number 3 receiver. Now he's in a different role. They've been a number 1 receiver. Now there's a whole different kind of pressure that he's going to have to adapt to, because you better believe they're going to attack. I mean, they're going to take A.J. Brown away by playing cover 2 or bracketing him. So Reynolds is going to have to step up and make plays, and that's why you need another guy on the opposite side.
They already started to do that last year.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's something that happened frequently, and really, you look at the Bengals game, right? A lot of coverage was rolling towards A.J. Brown, and Corey Davis was matched up one-on-one with William Jackson, and he ate him up on 2 different plays.
Yeah.
So I think that's a really good thing to look at. He's gone, but I feel Josh Reynolds, I think he could really be a legitimate option. And I asked him about this, and he said it. He was kind of held back. In so many words, he said he was held back by Jared Goff. And he said one of the reasons he came here was because he likes to go deep. And Ryan Tannehill, he was like, he likes to throw that deep ball, and he smiled real big. And you know what it's like, man. If you're running these deep routes and it's like you're running these dummy routes for nothing because the quarterback either A, doesn't look at you or B, can't get it to you, or C, is too scared to hang in the pocket to deliver it down the field, it's frustrating. And that limits you as a player, and that's something you have to look at with receivers. It's all about situation for you. And I mean, it's all positions, but as a receiver, you're dependent on that offensive line to get the block. You're dependent on that quarterback to get the ball and read you and deliver the ball to you. There's a lot that has to happen.
But there's a different kind of pressure than being the number 1 wide receiver and coming in on a 3 receiver. That's totally different. Okay, because it's totally different to where, okay, I come in, I make a play, and I get out. But now you're being called upon to make plays when they're taking away your number 1 wide receiver. Do you think Josh Reynolds can handle that pressure of saying, know what? Even though I got held back, he said he got held back. But
he didn't say that, but directly. But you could read between the lines and know what.
Yeah, but it's a whole different. Now he's got to run routes because I know he played a little bit of slot when he came in as the 3rd wide receiver. Those are totally different routes. When you're on the outside, you got to run comebacks, you got to run curls, you got to get off the press, you got to understand when the safety's going to scroll down. So those things that he didn't see when he was in the slot, all he had to do was be the safety or a linebacker.
He played a lot of Z and X.
Okay.
Here we go, Vikings.
Are you ready? With the 66th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Minnesota Vikings select Kellen Mond, quarterback, Texas A&M.
Interesting pick. I feel like Kirk Cousins is the kind of guy who, if he's your quarterback, all you dream about is getting somebody else to play quarterback.
Yep. It's funny you say that because I mentioned it yesterday what Justin Jefferson said to Kirk Cousins. But, I remember watching the Senior Bowl and in the group chat with my homies, I was like, yo, man, I'm going to tell you right now, if I was in this practice, I would want to fight Kellen Mond. Because all he wanted to do was run the ball. Like, hey, look, man, it's practice. Throw the football, man. Give me a chance to show off, too. But his ability, I've seen him, and right on cue, he's running the read option. I've seen he's taken off from everybody. I've seen comparisons to Colin Kaepernick. I don't think he has the same arm strength as Kaepernick, but you just look like overall package.
The mechanics?
Kaepernick's mechanics were just,
yeah, they like me and you playing quarterback.
They were trash juice, man. But that dude managed to get the football where it needed to go. This is a nice throw right here.
But his wheels kept him in the game, though.
His wheels kept him in the game and made the reads a lot different for him.
Yep.
He was a totally different guy last year at A&M. Exploded.
Yep.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins is funny, though. He puts up pretty good numbers. And all he does is get paid.
All he does is get paid. You're right about that. But when it's time to do.
I know.
Oh, boy.
I will say this. Working with Floyd, there were 2 quarterbacks that he never, ever, ever liked no matter what. Joe Flacco and Kirk Cousins.
Oh, he couldn't stand Flacco.
Oh, he hated Flacco.
Really?
He hated Flacco. So I knew that he was done with Mariota when they were getting ready, before they played that Broncos game. And we talked on the air about who's the better quarterback, Flacco or Mariota. Floyd said Flacco. I knew. I was like, he is done with Marcus. Woo! I was like, I got the feeling when Marcus spiked the ball on 3rd down against Indianapolis and he just went off. And I was like, oh, yeah, he probably doesn't like Marcus very much anymore. And then when he said that, I was like, yeah, he hates Marcus. I get a little nervous. About the Titans. I get a little nervous about this defense. I get a little nervous looking at these names come off the board that I'm like, boy, I'll tell you, some of these players can help the Titans on defense. And
you look at the guys remaining, a lot of those players can help them on defense now.
There's some good players available, man, seriously.
Check this out. The SEC, according to ESPN Stats and Info, SEC had 22 players taken in the first 2 rounds. The only time in the common draft era that a conference had more players taken in the first 2 rounds was the SEC last year. That's really interesting, man. 6 times a conference has had 20 players taken through 2 rounds. The SEC is responsible for all of them.
You know what they say? There's only 3 conferences in football that matter.
AFC, NFC,
and the SEC.
Big Ten's in there. Get some.
By the way, nice to see the Houston Texans back on the clock for the first time this
That is
century.
terrible.
Here we go.
This was going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Shout out to this guy's agent. I'll
Because
say
this
that.
is crazy out here. This draft is awesome. Much love to the traveling Texans. My guy right here, 24 years of marriage, happy anniversary to his wife. I just found out I walked across the stage. Show his wife some love. Show his wife some love. Cleveland, what's happening? I'm gonna take 10 seconds to tell y'all a quick story. My dad is from New York, but he loves the Cleveland Browns. When I was a kid growing up, the Brownies this, the Brownies that, them Brownies gonna be all right this year. When I got drafted, he wanted the Browns to draft me. I didn't get that lucky. I got drafted by the Texans, so it's all good, baby. All right. With the 67th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, my Houston Texans select Davis Mills, QB from Stanford. Go Texans, baby.
Okay.
That dude's agent is awesome.
Hasn't he had like 3 knee surgeries?
And they told him some people had him first round.
Yep.
No, sir, buddy.
Okay, Davis Mills out of Stanford. You don't draft a second-round quarterback. If you got Deshaun Watson in his prime, and you think Deshaun's going to stay around, and you think Deshaun is not going to go to jail, and you think that Deshaun is not going to be able to demand his way out of trouble or get his way out because he doesn't like you, you don't draft a quarterback in the second round.
Well, it's the third round.
Third round, especially when you have no other picks.
Well, they gotta be practical.
It's a quarterback-driven league. We all stumped at that one, man, to be honest with you.
I mean,
Falcons, their pick is in.
I wonder, with the Texans and the Deshaun situation, I wonder what they actually think, how the situation's going to play out for them.
I don't know.
I don't think any of us do.
No,
I've never seen anything like this. A guy who had pretty close to an impeccable reputation around the league runs into and it just shows you. And Tehran, I know you. Knowing the players as well as you do, you've seen on occasion people trying to extort a player, and believe me, it happens a lot. Yeah. I remember Jerome Bettis was asked to sign a football, and the person he signed it for lied about their encounter.
Wow.
And it came to light, so that person ended up getting arrested, but whatever the case. But this whole thing with Deshaun Watson, volume. And now a guy that even if you were going to trade, you were going to get a boatload for him. I don't know if that's the case.
Look at here, man. I'm glad the Falcons pick is in because I ain't saying a thing about Deshaun Watson in that situation.
Falcons.
The 2021 NFL Draft. The Atlanta Falcons select Jalen Mayfield, guard, Michigan.
There it is.
TD, your top Titan target, still on the board. Jalen Mayfield, Michigan. Now goes.
Well,
I guess he's not anymore
Titan.
now that you got Dylan Radins.
Yeah, he just was in my top 5 available.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
What's wrong?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Chiefs, Bengals are up. Huh?
I don't know, but I just so badly now want to go. TD, your thoughts on Deshaun Watson?
I know.
Hey. I
will
thought
say
we were
this.
boys, man.
No. I will say this, though, about the Watson thing.
I ain't touching it.
I don't feel like the Texans can really move their franchise forward until they know what the deal is with the situation and with him in general. But they're going to have to. Tyrod Taylor, Davis Mills.
They need to figure out what's going on. I'll say that.
What's going on?
And they need to have someone other than the team chaplain be the one who's deciding how they run the organization. But he's in good somehow.
He ain't even paying attention to you.
Look, man, I'm on my Drew Rosenhaus. Next question.
Bengals on the clock. Their pick is
God.
in. What do we think for the Titans' next pick? Wide receiver or pass rusher, or do you just take whatever's the best out there of that? And now I do think tight end is probably in the mix at 85.
I'm going with tight end. I like Bevin Jordan from Miami, but also I want to address the inside linebacker position. I like Jabril Cox from LSU.
How about the outside linebacker position?
Yeah, I like inside.
That's my.
I like that dude.
Cox is my 44th ranked player.
Yeah, so that'll be a steal for the Tennessee Titans. So there's still some good players out there.
Yeah, Perkins at 42.
Yeah. Anthony Munoz for the Bengals pick.
With the 69th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Cincinnati Bengals select Joseph Osai, linebacker, Texas.
Oh, man.
You do not like him, do you?
Me?
Yeah.
He's stiff. he's stiff. What you like Osai?
I don't, but I need some pass rushers, and he's a pass rusher. I just need a pass rusher, and all the pass rushers are gone.
No, Ronnie Perkins is still there.
I do like Ronnie Perkins.
Patrick Jones. You know Patrick Jones had 9 sacks
No,
last
that's
year,
what I'm saying.
no?
And then what's his teammate from Pitt? What's his other teammate from Pitt?
Rashad Weaver.
Yeah, so.
I'm going to tell you, though. Oh, go ahead.
No, you're good.
You probably won't like Patrick Jones.
Why is that?
Because when I watch him, and I told him about this, I comp him to Clowney.
Oh,
and he said that he has heard Baby Clowney comparisons before.
I'm okay with that in the 4th round. I'm not okay with that for $12.5 million that cost me Jonnu Smith next year. Then I'm not okay with it. It's all about what you pay for, right?
I get it.
If we went to the ball game and I got you a hot dog and I was like, that'd be $50, I'm not sure you'd like that very much.
You ain't gonna give me a hot dog for 50 cents.
And then if I was like,
you can't put 87 in this Lamborghini.
Panthers are on the clock at 70.
What could they do?
And Mel says they need a tight end.
Oh, they better have a run of tight ends. Yes, sir.
I'll say this. I don't think the Bengals are ever going to be good again. Here we go.
Wow.
Panthers.
The Carolina Panthers select Brady Christensen, tackle, BYU.
That's an older guy. That's a 24-year-old guy. He's been on a Mormon mission.
Wow.
Has played mainly the left side with BYU, but I think they envisioned him on the right side.
John Robinson and Vrabel were at that pro day.
Giants are on the clock again. We are, 14 picks away from the Titans.
Giants broke your heart, man.
They sure did.
They took Ojulari. Oh, my God. Could you imagine how much more energy this show would have right now had Ojulari been taken with that pick? I'm sitting here saying, okay, go.
But see, you know how I felt yesterday with the pick with Farley. I mean, it sucked all my energy out. I mean, I was just like, what in Sam E. Hill is going on?
Trevor Maddich, ESPN college football analyst, has texted me and says, I'm not crazy about Dylan Radins. Would have much rather seen the Penn State tight end or Dwayne Eskridge taken right after. He's a decent blocking run guard prospect, but it's hard to see him contributing for a while. Says he needs a ton of tedious work, especially in pass pro.
Oh, my gosh. Now you're making me sad. I mean, that's all the stuff that we talked about earlier. I mean, you want to have a guy to come in and be an impact player. We don't need him to sit for 2 or 3 years.
I would have taken Mayfield instead, to be honest. But
do you think I know that I've knocked on the pick. Is it a concern, though, that Caleb Farley didn't play ball last year and that Dylan Radins played a game last year?
Collectively maybe, but there are so many players coming, who were drafted early that opted out. I think we won't be able to evaluate that for another 4 or 5 years.
Well, and the other thing, I asked Reynolds about that, and he said he turned it into a positive. He said that it gave him a chance to get his body refreshed. And we had all these reactions about the injury with Farley. Well, this dude, he said he's clean.
Yep.
And then another thing that I really like, because Chris, you brought it up, one of the areas for improvement, because I never like to say weaknesses or negatives.
Right.
I like to always, address it that way. But one of the
So,
areas for
so
improvement.
Isaiah Wilson has an area to improve.
Look, man, that's another one. I'm just going to move on from that. But one of the areas for improvement was strength.
Yeah, but you got to be strong in this league at that position.
I get that. He got that too. So
Right.
what does he do? He got with Joe Staley, one of the stronger offensive linemen when he was playing, and that was something that he said that helped him. He worked to develop strength and get that. I like having that self-actualization, saying, hey, I need to get better at this.
Right.
I'm going to address it. I got all this time to do it. That's a good sign.
And let me take that back. I know a lot of times we focus on strength and being strong and all that stuff, but if you're a technician at that position, it's going to put you in an advantage. And I'm going to tell you this. The worst athlete I've ever seen, and I'm not saying this to be disrespectful, is Bruce Matthews. Bruce Matthews was a terrible athlete, but his technique was flawless. Technique was flawless. He was a technician. He knew what the guy was going to do. He used his hands well. He wasn't really strong, but his technique was flawless. And maybe I'm not saying he's good as Bruce Matthews, but maybe they can develop him to be, excellent in the skill position.
Yeah, I just want to see, and, it goes back to what Mark said. It could be that same gradual process as Nate Davis. And Nate Davis had to make a similar jump, right, from Charlotte to the NFL. And once he made that jump, they have a really legitimate, solid player.
I think everybody, here's the Giants at 71.
21 NFL Draft. The New York Giants select Aaron Robinson, defensive back, UCF.
That dude is a dog.
What we talking about him?
Yeah, he's a nickel guy. You watch UCF. They have 3 really good corners, but he is somebody I thought the Titans would be interested in. And Darnay Holmes is there playing nickel. They got Adoree Jackson as well. This is a nice group. I mean, he could play on the outside, but I like him. See that? Look at that.
Yeah, he's got ball skills.
And he'll come up and tackle now.
What were we about to say when the Giants went up? There was something we were talking about.
Oh, the offensive line, the guy that you don't like, Reynolds?
Oh, yeah. A lot of people, to the Nate Davis comparison Mark made, a lot of people talk about the turnaround the Titans had in 2019, and most of it was Tannehill, for sure. I think Nate Davis becoming comfortable, though, I think that nobody talks about that in that run. You go back to that Ravens playoff game, I mean, he was eating those guys alive.
Yep.
I mean, Nate Davis was killing those guys. And I think that there's one play nobody ever talks about, but Dennis Kelly came in on a 3rd and short as the Lions pick, and he got called for holding. Here are the Lions up at 72.
Hello. With the 72nd pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Aleem McNeil, defensive tackle, NC State.
Somebody asked about him today on the text line. I have no idea about him. And then the texter got mad that I have no idea about the guy.
TD, let me ask you a question about when we talk tight end for the Titans. Are we looking for a vicious blocker like Trimble, or are we looking for a guy who can catch the ball like Jordan, or something in between?
I think it's something in between, and the whole reason that they have to fix this, not even fix, but address tight end. Right now, they're so predictable.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Look, Anthony Ferguson, I call him Sticky Fingers because he catches the ball really well. But if he's in the game, they see 86 come on the field.
He ain't blocking.
Exactly. And then
He's
87.
more predictable about the play than Deion Lewis was.
Yeah, and 87, Swain, that it's more than likely there's a very good chance it's going to be a running play. So for me, I think what it's about is getting a tight end that takes away that disadvantage.
Right.
Brevin Jordan does that.
Yes, he does.
And still gives you, a guy who has a proven track record of being able to run with the football, catch the football, and be used in a variety of ways. So for me, he would be the pick. Now, Tommy Tremble, he's very capable. I know Corey Curtis loves that guy. He's very capable, but
Here are
it's
the Eagles.
unproven catching the
Eagles at
football.
73.
2021 NFL Draft. The Philadelphia Eagles select Milton Williams, defensive end, Louisiana Tech.
A lot of defensive ends now.
Talking about Trimble real quick.
Yeah.
As a lifelong New York Giants fan, Mark Bavaro didn't catch many balls at Notre Dame. He was brought in for his blocking.
Yeah.
And he became a great catching tight end, great receiving tight end. So you're right.
And I trust the possibility of that happening more than I would of Ferkser becoming a blocker. I mean, that's the.
But I'll tell you what, I'll do credit to Jonnu, who was a terrible blocker when he came in here and really worked on it. So he earned his money.
I will never forget Jonnu Smith's first game against the Texans. Oh, my goodness. That was when they had Merciless in his prime and Wyatt. My goodness.
There were a few whiffs.
Let's take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll reset it. We'll be about 10 picks to the Titans' next pick right here. It's the Draft Show on ESPN 102.5 The Game. 8 picks away. Dallas on the clock at 75. The Tennessee Titans picking at, 85? I was about to say 83, but that was 53 in the second one. 85. So 10 picks away for the Titans. TD, what are we thinking at wide receiver? Is there a guy that might fit, pass rusher that might fit that we need to kind of hold on to as we go through these next 10 picks?
Yeah, I mean, Nico Collins is still on the board. Tylan Wallace is still on the board. Those are 2 options. Third round, Amari Rogers.
Are they still there?
Amari Rogers is still here. That's another one. Well, I haven't seen the last 2 picks, but I would imagine Washington and Dallas, they wouldn't have taken them. But, that's something. Then you look at on the edge rusher side of things, you still got Quincy Roche, Ronnie Perkins. Those are options too. So I definitely like that.
You surprised that Perkins hasn't gone off the board at this point?
I am surprised. Absolutely. But he may be there for him. So that's something that you have to look at, and that should kind of comfort you. You know what I mean? Because I know you want a pass rusher.
Here are the Cowboys on the clock.
They might get a dog on the receiver.
And they have a special announcer of their selection.
What's up, Cleveland? I'm here, and with the 75th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Dallas Cowboys select Hosa Odigiezuwa, defensive tackle from UCLA.
Hosa Odigiezuwa.
Violent hands right there, man. Motor.
Big, heavy hands.
Yeah. That's a good pick for them. I mean, they need guys on the interior. They just that defense. I mean, you look at how terrible they've been over the last couple of years.
They just need bodies on defense. They just need good players on defense for the Cowboys. Tight end. We have been talking wide receiver. Tight end, Brevin Jordan, Tommy Trimble, Hunter Long.
Hunter Long just makes too much sense.
Oh, because he's a Boston College kid?
Yeah.
They got the inside report on him, don't they?
TD, would you be interested in any of those 3 guys at the 85th pick?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm going with Brevin Jordan from Miami. I mean, we talked about a little early, he's 6'3", 247 speed and can run some routes. But then the thing about it is he's a good blocker also.
Yeah.
So you get into that 12 personnel, 1 back, 2 tight ends, keep them in the box, but also you can spread them out and be a guy that can go out there and make some plays and run routes in there.
You know what I like about him, just to give a little context, right? Mike Vrabel, what did he say to Caleb Farley? He said, listen, when you talk to the media, it's all about the team. Don't go in there saying, well, this dude, Brevin Jordan, out of Las Vegas, he was the number 1 tight end in the nation. He got to Miami, got converted to fullback. Didn't fuss, didn't have any issue, played some fullback.
Yeah.
That's taking one for the team.
No doubt.
And then they gradually worked him in there. He was an H-back. He played tight end. I mean, they used him in so many ways, and then he got an OC that was like, you know what?
Right.
I'm going to feature you. And that's when he really took off.
And that's what Mike Vrabel wants. He wants versatile players. He wants guys that can play different positions and can do a lot of things, because you get a guy like that can do so many things. It just makes your team even better.
Here come the Saints at 76.
With the 76th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the New Orleans Saints select Paulson Adibo, defensive back, Stanford.
You don't like him, do you?
I'm not too fond of him, but he definitely has the length.
Yeah.
I'm not too fond.
I don't like his hips. I mean, I watch his hips. His hips are not good. I mean, even though he can kind of put his hands on you, but when you got to turn and go and get that burst, I just don't think he has it.
That's a good point.
Watch right here. He's too high. Done. I got him.
He's different from, and it's interesting that he goes before St. Juice.
Right.
He goes before Melifano and Keith Taylor, because all of those guys are longer corners like that, but they have that ability to the loose hips and the ability to turn. He's a guy I would he reminds me of.
Double move all day long.
He kind of gives me a feel of Lamar Jackson, a corner out of Nebraska last year. And they double moved him and did. Look at this.
See, I don't. That's a quarterback's fault.
At the end, he came back and he made up for with the length and with the ball skills. But typically, That's a nice break on the ball
Right,
there. But
right, but in the league, the ball's going to be thrown in different places. That's
and a lot sooner.
Exactly. So you can't play catch up in this league. We saw that with Adoree Jackson. You're not going to be able to get away with that, what you do it in college. It's just a totally different ball game.
No doubt.
Time now to take a look at the Two-Tone Blue Minute presented by MTGRT.com. TD, I'm doing my pick countdown as we're at 77. You stop me if I mention a name that you think is a reach with the 85th pick in the draft. Brevin Jordan, tight end out of Miami. Tommy Trimble, tight end Notre Dame. Hunter Long, tight end Boston College. Diami Brown, wide receiver North Carolina. Tylan Wallace, wide receiver Oklahoma State. Amari Rogers, wide receiver Clemson. Ronnie Perkins, defensive end Oklahoma. Patrick Jones II out of Pittsburgh. Rashad Weaver out of Pittsburgh. And Quincy Roche out of Miami.
Not mad at any of them. Good
at all.
job.
Chargers on the clock.
7th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Los Angeles Chargers select Josh Palmer, wide receiver, Tennessee.
I have thought about Josh Palmer if he was there at pick 100.
Yeah.
That now 77. I mean, hey, it's still the third round. I thought he may be at pick 100, and that would have been a good pick for the team.
I had him around later. I told him when I talked to him, he reminds me of Marvin Jones, just like one of those guys that is not fast but does a really good job of stacking corners. He had an excellent game, and actually DJ Daniels, they're showing this. He was one of the few guys to beat Daniels deep. You know, and this play that they're showing right now, Josh told me when he got to the Senior Bowl, DJ told him they're going to go at it one-on-one because he was the only one to beat him, and he proceeded to give him work.
But the
one,
Didn't he put up the best performance against J.C. Horn this season?
J.C. Horn and Patrick Surtain.
I mean, I thought
there it is right
he
there.
would have been a good fit for the Titans at wide
Absolutely.
receiver. I mean, I love Josh Palmer.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. He would have been a good fit. You know who he was working with during the offseason? Anquan Bolden.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I mean, they're kind of like each other because the thing about it is they're not fast. They're not going to beat you with speed, but it's the technique that you just talked about.
Yep.
You got to get the defensive back off the spot, stack him, and now you put yourself in position to catch the ball. But here's what I love about that kid is the way he locates the ball.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he locates it and he goes up and he goes up and gets it. That's what makes this kid so special. So great pick.
Very good pick.
Mark Howard, if you had to pick of the list of guys that we're running through as possible Titan targets here, the tight ends, the wide receivers that are still there, Diami Brown, Tylan Wallace, Amari Rogers, or Ronnie Perkins, Patrick Jones, Rashad Weaver, which guy would you kind of circle and say, okay, I think that maybe the Titans should hold out for this guy the most?
Maybe Ellerson Smith from Northern Iowa.
Yeah. I don't think – is he on your list?
He's not on the list?
No, sorry.
That is one. He is my – fifth rated 4-3 DN, but he could play stand up and rush the passer.
I think if
Amari Rogers, it feels like Amari Rogers.
Here come the Vikings.
NFL Draft, the Minnesota Vikings select Chaz Surratt, linebacker, North Carolina.
Former quarterback. You know, he has a brother in Sage Surratt.
Yeah, Wake Forest, yeah. Well, I mean, the Titans are going to be able to pick a tight end, a receiver, or a pass rusher with this pick. I mean, I think now we've gotten to the point where there will be one of these guys available with that pick. I think if all three tight ends, Brevin Jordan, Tommy Trimble, Hunter Long are there, I think tight end is probably the pick at 85.
Oh, definitely. I mean, especially with Brevin Jordan, he just brings so much to the table. Just like what I talked about, he's 6'3", 247 speed and can run routes. So, you know, I know Jonnu Smith is gone. I'm not saying he's that kind of a player, but he still brings a threat to a defense because of his speed and route running.
Yeah.
TD, which tight end do you like the most out of Jordan, Trimble, and Long?
I like Jordan the most out of these guys, but I think Long will be the pick if they go tight end.
Oh, it's such a Vrabel pick.
Yeah.
It's such a Vrabel pick.
He does.
Which of the receivers, Diami Brown, Tylan Wallace, Amari Rogers? Rogers, you like the most?
I like
Rogers.
Oh
and I think you need to start including Nico Collins.
No
in that
Oh,
too.
yeah, for sure. And if it was between Collins or Rogers?
I'm going with Collins.
Dadgone, Chris.
Had to beat you to the punch.
I'm still going Amari Rogers, man. I just love he's a guy, he could play on the outside, he could play slot, but like I said earlier, I love what he brings to the table as far as being a gadget guy.
Yeah.
You know, and I hate to keep referring to the Senior Bowl, but I'm going to do that because this was the time I got to actually lay my eyes on him without being through a screen and a TV screen. And he took a reverse during practice the one time, and I'm like, all right, he's going to step out of bounds. He lowered his shoulder and delivered a boom. You know, and he's someone that you could jet sweep him. You could put him in the back. He worked out as a running back at Clemson at their pro day, and he got the bloodlines. You know, he got the bloodlines. I'm going to shamelessly plug my post, Amari Rogers and T. Martin. That's his dad.
No way.
Yeah, and here's something interesting, right? He was a running back for the first 2 years of high school in Knoxville. He goes to USC, their camp.
Yeah.
He said, man, I want to spend some more time with my pops. So he said, well, I'm going to go work out with the receivers. The dude left camp with an offer from USC.
Wow. Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then when he was going to L.A. to visit his pop, to visit T. Martin, he wasn't worried about going to Disney World. he said, hey, Dad, I want to go work out.
Boy, wow.
No, I mean, he can play. I actually, when I first saw him as a freshman, I was like, oh, he'll be a first-round pick. You know, just when you see a guy on TV and you throw that out there. So I'm going to go with Ronnie Perkins as probably the top defensive player of this grouping.
Yeah.
So if Brevin Jordan, Amari Rogers, and Ronnie Perkins are on the board all at 85, which one would you guys take? Chris, we'll start with you.
I'm going with Brevin Jordan. And the reason why, you know, Jonnu Smith is out, is gone. And I just think this guy brings a different element to the tight end position. I mean, he can block, he can play in 12 personnel, but also you can split him out, and he can run those routes, those little choice routes, get the ball and keep the chains moving. So even though you have those other guys that can help on the defense with Ronnie Perkins, but I think on the offensive wise, it just made your offense a little better.
I like Jordan a lot. One thing to be concerned about, injuries. He's had that at Miami. But I love the way he was featured in that. I mean, there were times where they would line him up kind of like in the backfield and bring him across the formation, right, and then just leak out to the flat and just dump it to him, let him get the free yards, you know, and that's something that Mike Vrabel has always said he likes about players getting free yards. I like Brevin Jordan. I still think, though, in this situation, I'm going to Amari Rogers, man. I'm going to Amari Rogers because you need a guy that could be a sturdy player that will really help that passing game, and I think he does that, man. I'm going to Rodgers.
So where would you put him at? Would you put him at the slot or you put him outside?
Absolutely, slot.
So Josh Reynolds outside, him in the slot, and A.J. Brown outside?
But in my opinion, Amari Rogers, his position is offense. You know, so you can put him outside if you want to. He's essentially a less explosive version of Elijah Moore. You know, he doesn't have that same 4.35 speed. He's more in the high 4.4s. But that dude will get you yards after the catch. That dude will, and the work ethic is there. He helps you in the return game too. I mean, I like him a lot, man, as a player.
Mark, Brevin Jordan, Amari Rogers, Ronnie Perkins, sitting there at 85. Which one would you jump on?
Probably Ronnie Perkins.
Oh, we got three different picks.
I need a pass rusher.
I still like Weaver and Jones later.
Out of Pittsburgh, yeah. Boy, you know a guy that if you had told me this 3 or 4 years ago, I think you were crazy. But Trey Smith is going to probably be a third-day selection out of Tennessee. He's one of the top recruits in the country, and it just goes to show you. And a lot of stuff happened, much of which wasn't his fault. He's a great kid, great, good student, but he's got the blood clot thing, which is
that's
surely hampered him and red flagged him. But you wish him well.
Absolutely.
I actually thought that Jeremy Pruitt was going to win a little bit at Tennessee, not because he was a good coach, but because I thought so much of Trey Smith.
Wow.
And I thought so much of Ty Chandler that I just figured, hey, just, patch together a defense, turn around, hand the ball off to Ty Chandler, try to play 25-minute games, let the clock run.
Yeah, well.
And obviously Pruitt messed all that up.
What you needed was a time machine because they were playing 1990s SEC football. And a bad offensive line. That was a big disappointment for
The
me.
Raiders are on the clock at 79. The pick is in, 5 picks away.
They might get a receiver.
From the
They'll
Titans.
probably draft Chris. I mean, they go off their board a lot.
I
like fast guys. They going back to back.
I feel bad for the Raiders. It's the one team that I should say the one. It's one of a handful of teams that I never care about. Like, I never am worried about the Raiders. Because I just know that even if they're good, they'll screw it up.
They just have the craziest picks, man.
No love for Tommy Trimble amongst the group.
It's not a matter of no love. It's just an understanding that he'll be there. I have a 4th-round projection on him.
Yeah.
You know?
Would you bet if you looked at the numbers? Like, say TD, you're leaning towards Amari Rogers with the 85th pick. Would you say, I like the depth at receiver more than the depth at defensive line and take a Ronnie Perkins and pass on Rodgers and maybe take a lesser receiver? Or are we at the point where if you love that receiver, you're like, you know what, let me go with this guy?
I think it depends on what you want in the receiver. I feel like as if the impact slot guys, I think, Atwell's gone, Cade Johnson, Shi Smith, Stevenson is interesting, Jalen Darden, Demetric Felton. To answer your question, I think if you want a dynamic slot guy, you got to get him now. I like Cade Johnson a lot. You know what I mean? But I think Amari Rogers, it goes back to what we call NFL ready.
Mm-hmm.
And he understands how to set his routes up. The guy just, playing at Clemson, they with Dabo Sweeney, a former receiver, they really teach technique to these guys. Man, I forgot Clemson's receiver coach, but I talked to him also about Amari Rogers and just, the things that they were doing.
Your Raiders are on the clock.
That's what I'm saying. There we go. Hey, in all seriousness, rest in peace to the late, great Willie Brown. I have the pleasure of carrying on this tradition with the Raiders and reminding everybody, next weekend is Mother's Day. Call your mom, go drive, pick up groceries, tell her you love her, tell her you miss her. Take care of your moms, man. They run this thing. With that being said, with the 79th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Las Vegas Raiders select Malcolm Kuntz, defensive end, Buffalo.
TD, what do we know about Malcolm Kuntz?
I don't know much on that guy, man, to be honest
either.
with you. I don't have him on my board. I've heard his name. I haven't really watched him, though. I'll tell you the truth.
Raiders are back on the clock.
Divine Diablo, linebacker, Virginia Tech.
TD, what do we know about him?
It's another one.
Mayak threw you 2 curveballs.
There's not the Raiders have to try to screw up the draft.
Man.
I will never forget being on draft stage downtown when we were sitting there, Floyd, Derek Mason, and we're sitting there wondering who's going to be the 4th pick, and we see Cleveland Farrell's face flash up on the boards, and we're like, what? Like, this is where we are with the Raiders. 2 bad picks. I don't even know those guys.
I'm not going to say they're bad picks. I personally am not familiar with them. And, okay, so Diablo's from Virginia Tech. What number did he wear? Because I watched an awful lot of Caleb Farley. Let me see what number he wore.
I mean, all these receivers are going to be there. All these tight ends, it looks like, are probably going to be there. And
We might get
one
a
of the
tackle.
pass rushers is going to be there.
I'm telling you, if the Titans pick somebody that you don't know, Jared, you are going to lose your mind. I cannot wait till the pick comes. I cannot wait, because if they pick somebody that's not crazy, but that you don't know.
Like if they pick Malcolm Kuntz.
Yeah. I think you will walk out of here.
If TD doesn't know the guy they pick, then I may.
Oh, my gosh. Come on, pick. Come on, Titans. Hurry and pick so I can see Jared's face. I cannot wait. How many picks we got left till the Titans go?
I was telling Mark Howard yesterday.
4?
I remember when I was in
can't
college. We went to watch a draft at a place like this. Boombox Craft Pizza and Tap House that we love. Went to a place like this to watch a draft. The Titans took Jake Locker, and I got up and left. I was like, no, I'm not doing
That's
this.
Frank Wycheck's all-time favorite Titan.
Come on, pick. I cannot wait. I cannot wait.
Can only imagine how I would have felt in 1995 when they took Chris Sanders in the third round. It is time, though, to go inside the locker room, presented by MTGRT.com. Chris Sanders,
Yes, sir.
What was it like in the third round when you got the call?
Man, it was pretty cool. I was sitting there waiting because I thought I didn't know where I was going. They said I was going to maybe go 5th or 6th round or maybe be a free agent. And then all of a sudden, Mel Kiper comes in on late in the second round and said Washington should pick me. So I'm all excited. And then once they passed on me, I kind of pouted a little bit. And then all of a sudden, I think it was the 67th pick of the third round. The Tennessee Titans /Orders picked me, and it was one of the best days of my life.
Here are the Dolphins.
Shout out to the Miami Dolphins organization for giving me the opportunity to be here. Shout out to Caleb Thornhill in particular. That being said, with the 81st pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Miami Dolphins select Hunter Long, tight end, Boston College.
Oh, hey, you know what? Thank you. Thank you, Brian Flores. Thank you, Chris Greer, to keep Mike Vrabel from drafting a player that Mike Vrabel could not have kept himself from drafting.
Well, I mean, it's not like he's a bad player.
No, he's not. But Vrabel would have quit if they hadn't drafted that kid. Vrabel's probably mad. Vrabel was probably as mad as I was when they took Dylan Radins because they didn't take him.
Dude, he's a good-looking player, man.
That's a nice little outlet,
he
right?
is.
Play now.
He looks like a receiver.
I'll be honest with you. Had they taken him, other than the fact that he had played with Vrabel's kid, I wouldn't have really had a problem with the pick.
Oh, man.
So Hunter Long's off the board.
Complete.
Are you surprised that he goes before Trimble and Jordan Teedy?
No, I'm not. I'm not at all surprised, especially before Trimble. I'm not surprised.
But see, he fits Miami's scheme. I mean, they get the ball out quick, and he catches it, and he can run because he's good, yards after the catch. So I think it's a great pick.
They have a nice 12 personnel package with he and Gesicki.
From Penn State.
That's going to be attractive, man.
Okay.
That's a nice class,
It sure is, man.
The Holland pick, I don't know about that, but
they got some good picks.
If you guys, instead of what we would do, if you're the Titans and all these players that we've looked at take Hunter Long off the board, all these players we've looked at are available at 85. Who do you think the Titans would take?
I'm going. Oh, go ahead. You go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'm going with Ronnie Perkins. I mean, he all the names you just named, he's the most intriguing guy that I want the Tennessee Titans to get because he's big, he's physical, he's long, and he'll put pressure on the quarterback. And I'm surprised that he's even there right now.
I think they would go Perkins in this situation just because they're just so confident in the depth of this draft.
Right.
And I think they would go Perkins, and he fits right into what we were saying that John Robinson had mentioned, about being able to get a situational guy. He fits right into that.
Mark?
I've been on the Perkins train for a while, but I'm like you, Jared. They need to fortify their pass rush, and they need to do it with a draft pick. And they need to do it with a draft pick that actually works out, that pans out.
The other thing the Titans have to do is that I do feel like on defense, especially in that front seven, but especially defensive line, they need to get guys who can come in and give Simmons a break. And they can give Simmons a break. They can give Autry a break. They can give Landry a break. They can give, and not one player is going to be able to do that, but I just didn't like what they did last year when they had everybody playing almost every snap.
You know who could give Simmons a break and a boost and would be really good? Marvin Wilson out of Florida State. I had a third-round grade on him. He's another one. You got to go back and watch that 19 tape. But he is a guy that you could play. He's primarily, a 3-tech. But you could play him at 5. I mean, I've seen him play up and down the offensive line or defensive line, excuse me. But I like him most at 3-tech, and that, that will complement. He's very similar to what Daquan Jones brought to the table.
One thing I do like about Vrabel is that I do feel like if he wants to play one down lineman on a play, he'll do it.
Yeah.
He wants to go 3, he'll do it. When he got hired and he kept talking about front multiplicity, he didn't lie about the fact that is exactly what they do on defense. I'm surprised Chris isn't selling out for the wide receivers.
I mean, there's still a couple. I mean, Nico's still there. I mean, the Tennessee Titans could get him.
I think AJ got close to his touchdown record, and that scared him. So now
he's got 8. I got 9. I was watching now.
AJ got close to his rookie touchdown record, so now Chris is saying 3rd round, 4th round, 5th round. Don't go 1st round.
Nah.
Pick us in.
What we got?
Washington on the clock at 82. Followed by Carolina at 83, and then Cowboys at 84, and then come the Titans.
I cannot wait. Please take a picture.
You want to see what happens when they take somebody bad.
If they do, and I just want to see your expression. That'll make my night. Because what you did about 45 minutes ago is priceless.
Let's see who the Washington football team takes here. Boy, that Ronnie Perkins, he's been on Bell's best available for a long time.
A long time.
Here comes Washington again, 82nd. All these names, the tight ends, other than Hunter Long, who just went off the board, still there. Here we go, Washington at the podium.
In the 2021 NFL Draft, the Washington football team selects De'Ami Brown, wide receiver, North Carolina.
Nice pick.
Cross him off the Titans list.
You talked about him earlier, didn't you?
He is off the list.
Go ahead.
I'm saying he's off the list.
Yeah. I mean, he's a speedy, vertical guy. He's someone. He had a pretty good game against Samuel in Florida State, but here he is right here. He could bump inside and give you some slack.
Yeah, he can.
I actually had him.
Oh, well, I just think he's not a burner. I mean, but the thing about it is he creates separation a little bit, and he's willing to go up and make the tough catch. So I think it's a great pick.
He's my 5th rated Z. So as far as, and I had him ahead of Eskridge as far as outside guys.
Mm-hmm.
But Eskridge was higher as a slot.
Man, TD puts in so much work breaking these guys down.
He does a great job, man.
I just get on the radio and say stuff. TD, man.
You just get on here and pout.
That's another receiver. Actually, looking at this, we haven't talked about Cornell Powell.
Yeah, that's right.
And I'm not saying 3rd round, but that's another one that could come in and give you some work. Mm-hmm. You look at the Ohio State game against Sean Wade. You put him in the ninja, not the blender, the ninja, man. Cut him up real well. But he's a solid, sturdy player. He'll go up and attack the ball, catch through contact, all that good stuff.
But look at all the good receivers that are available. You got Tylen Wallace from Oklahoma State, Nico Collins from Michigan, Amari Rogers from Clemson, Cade Johnson from South Dakota State.
Yep.
I mean, there's still quite a bit of wide receivers that are available. So
what about Amon-Ra St. Brown from USC?
He's interesting too. That's a Z. I have him. He's my 6th Z.
Here's Carolina.
His brother went to Notre Dame.
The 83rd pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Carolina Panthers select Tommy Trimble, tight end, Notre Dame.
Man,
Here comes the run on the tight ends. So if you want to get Brevin Jordan, Chris, you better get him at 85.
You got to go get him, man. They got to do something because, if he's off the board, then they're going to have to go defense.
How worried are you about Jordan's speed or lack thereof, TD?
Brevin Jordan?
Yeah.
I'm not
4.6.
I'm not concerned about that because, when you get him on the field, he does fine.
Okay.
I saw him go against safeties and give him that. And that's the thing, as a tight end, he runs routes with nuance.
That's what I'm saying.
I saw him, lean and to the corner and go to the post and do those things. He's legit. I'm not worried about the speed.
Titans are 2 picks away on the clock. Dallas is up now in the third round at pick 84. The pick is in for Dallas. So to me now, it either really comes between Amari Rogers or Ronnie Perkins. I mean, if you had told me 2 months ago Amari Rogers be available at 85,
That's
I would have
crazy.
said take the pick.
I felt that he was a third-round receiver, honestly. And, you look at this, I have 3 clips already posted of Amari Rogers, 2 of Brevin Jordan. I like him a lot, you know what I mean? So I felt he was a third-round prospect, which is fine.
Well, if you were looking at tight end and you were John Robinson and Mike Vrabel and the Titans Brain Trust, as good as the board might have been for you last night, it took away 2 tight end, and I'm telling you, Trimble would have been a Titans Mike Vrabel type of player.
ESPN
Absolutely.
has up on the screen Green Bay is sitting at 85. So the Titans have traded back with Green Bay.
Look at Jared's face.
I'm trying to figure out where Green Bay is. I'm guessing they probably picked up like a 6th.
Green Bay is at 92, I believe. Yeah, 92.
So they probably picked up like a 4th or a 5th.
A 4th and a 5th or a 4th and a 6th.
I'm not mad at that.
I'm not either. I mean, you need the depth, I think that's the one thing.
But are you going to lose that on some good players,
85.
though? Some impact players in the third round.
I wonder if they wanted Hunter Long or Tommy Tremble.
And that's why
and
they
when
moved.
those 2 guys were gone, they got out. Here's Dallas.
84th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Dallas Cowboys select Chauncey Golston, defensive end, Iowa.
It does not say what the compensation, so Green Bay is on the clock. It does not say what the compensation to the Titans is. I'm going to guess Aaron Rodgers, I think, would be probably the compensation.
Packers spot is 92.
Yeah.
So the Titans would be moving down 7 spots, assuming that's the one we're talking about. In the third round, that's all the Packers have left.
All right, let's take a quick timeout again. If you're just joining us, the Titans were supposed to be on the clock at 85. We don't know what the trade is for. We assume probably 92. Waiting on, what else the Titans got in return. It's the Draft Show live from Boombox Craft Pizza and Tap House in East Nashville on ESPN 102.5 The Game. Titans trade out of 85. Green Bay, then at 85, takes Amari Rogers. So, Chris Sanders, the Titans take a 4th-round pick. They get a 4th-round pick, but they lose Amari Rogers. Was it worth it?
No, because I definitely would have got him. I mean, you need a wide receiver to play the slot, and I think if you have a chance to get a quality slot player like that, I think you jump up and get him. I know they probably got what they get, a 4th-round draft pick.
A 4th-round pick from the Packers.
Yeah, I know that's good, but you still have a chance to get an impact player that can come in and play in the slot. You know, with A.J. Brown and Reynolds on the outside, I just think you reach up and you stay and get that pick.
Good God, you would have never been a good general manager, Chris.
Why
you would have traded up for all your. You would have had 3 draft picks every year.
No, but
Carroll does
that. I mean, I agree with you. Yeah, but that guy was right there for the pickings, and he dropped that low. I think the Tennessee Titans should have went and got him.
Well, apparently they didn't think so because
True.
Although it would have been academic.
And
they could have taken him.
There's still some good wide receivers left. But
yeah, I'm not. I think it's so funny. I've been through so many drafts, through so many general managers, and you ask them, so why did you pass on so-and-so? Because he said, because I thought so-and-so was better.
Yeah.
And that's how we had him evaluated. And that apparently was the case.
You stink.
Do we have the terms of the deal?
Yeah, so they pick up, what was it, it was a 4th-round pick, a mid-4th-round pick, and they moved back to 92. So like 120-something.
So they get Green Bay's 3rd, and they get another
135. 4th. Yeah, 135. So they get 92 and 135.
All right, so
that's not bad.
So that's going to be 10 draft picks, the way it looks right now.
Yes.
No good.
Here are the Vikings at 86.
With the 86th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Minnesota Vikings select Wyatt Davis, guard, Ohio State.
You would think with all these Ohio State players, they might have won some more games.
Easy, fella.
Easy.
You watch him off of it.
Wyatt Davis goes off the board there, a guard. Certainly nothing.
Especially these years, they can actually beat Michigan. Oh, sorry.
I mean, I keep looking through the clock right here for, the picks. And again, the Titans at 92, they're not that far off. Pittsburgh is now on the clock at 87. Mm-hmm. And still, Ronnie Perkins is still there. Chris Sanders,
yes,
Nico Collins is still there. Brevin Jordan is still there. Unless those 3 picks go in that order, the Titans will be able to get one of those players.
Yeah, they will, but I still think we should get a wide receiver. I like Tylan Wallace from Oklahoma State.
He'll be there.
I mean, if he's there.
I will tell you, at 92, you'll either be able to get Tylan Wallace or Nico Collins.
I know me and TD been going with Nico Collins, but I think I'm going with Tylan Wallace from that because he's 5'11", 194. He can play outside, and also he can play in the slot. So, you can't lose with those guys. But if I had to make a choice, I would go with Tylan Wallace from Oklahoma State.
Someone on Twitter says J-Rob is turning into J-Yuck.
Stop it.
Oh, my goodness.
Dude, please, what pick do we have, 92?
92.
Please hurry up.
You just want to see them pick something.
Please hurry up.
You want to see them do something dumb so that I lose my mind and go bananas.
See, they might go with somebody like Warren Jackson from Colorado State.
Oh, God. Warren Jackson, that bum. They got him rated as a 6th-round pick on Dane Brugler's mock draft guide.
Oh, my goodness.
I don't know. Let's see. Man, this Drew Smiley, man, he stinks. Okay, so.
Boy, he's crazy.
Oh, no. Okay. Oh, that's best available. Okay. I thought that was I'm looking at ESPN.com. I think you guys can start to tell now that I've done about 20 hours of radio over the last 2 days. They had best available, Ronnie Perkins. I thought that meant that the Steelers had taken Ronnie Perkins, and I was like, oh, no. Let's see.
Don't be surprised. Somebody going to sneak up and get him.
Pick is in.
Steelers on the clock at 87.
Ronnie Perkins.
And then you got the Rams. Oh, man, you got a lot of picks. I didn't count very well. I skipped a couple of numbers. Oh, man. I'm so glad it's 10 o'clock at night on a Friday because nobody will have caught how bad I just butchered these numbers.
Oh, man, it's all good.
I went from 88 to 91. Here's Pittsburgh on the clock. Thank you, Elijah.
Take a look at the stage. Y'all know what this is. This has been my team since I was a kid. My name's DMC. I'm the king of the rock. And on the football field, we won't be stopped. The king of the rock, and there is none realer. And there is nothing better than being a Pittsburgh Steeler. With the 87th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Kendrick Green, center, Illinois.
Kendrick Green, Illinois. I liked him, Mark. I thought that would have been, and again, not when you take Dylan Radins, you're out of the offensive line market, you would think. But I liked Kendrick Green going into this process as that guard center because ultimately I do think they're going to need to find
Ben Jones,
the replacement for Ben Jones. Or Roger Saffold. You could re-sign Jones at the end of the year on a one-year deal and, release Saffold, and you would save more in terms of cap space doing it that way. But maybe that's what Radins is. Maybe Radins is the replacement for Saffold down the road. But I did like Kendrick Green out of Illinois.
Well,
49ers have just traded up with the Rams. So the 49ers are now back on the clock. And again, still have to go through the 49ers, Carolina, Minnesota, Cleveland, and then the Titans are there at 92. TD, do you think that it was worth a fourth? If they end up with, say, Nico Collins, was it worth a fourth to lose out on Amari Rogers?
That's a tough question because they're totally different players. I think Nico Collins, pick 135. I'm going to say no. I think Amari Rogers was a difference maker. And him going to Green Bay, man, that's going to be, oof.
Here's San Francisco.
For allowing me to be here. With the 88 pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the San Francisco 49ers select Trey Smith, running back, Ohio State.
Good, man.
You put him in that scheme, that's going to be, that's going to be nice for them.
But talk about a guy who had an odd year.
It was odd.
He transfers. he transfers from Oklahoma. Where he felt like the backfield got too crowded. Didn't do anything almost the entire regular season for Ohio State. And then he has a great game against Northwestern, and has another good one after that. And everybody saw that, that he could be, a top-level talent. But that's how he upped his stock, was really by having really two good games this year.
And it's all about opportunities. I mean, he just took the opportunity and he ran with it. And just like you said, when they played Northwestern in the Big Ten Championship, the country had a chance to see this man's skill, and that's what it's all about. It's about taking advantage of your opportunity, and that's why he got drafted.
Especially in this situation.
Oh, yeah,
right?
beautiful. I love stories like that.
Big Ten, they shut down for a moment.
Right.
Guys like Nico Collins opted out, signed with an agent, Rosenhaus and them, and then, couldn't come back. But he took advantage of it. He had an opportunity to showcase himself, and he did it well. The size thing with him, I think that's really nice. And you look at him in that scheme, one cut, get upfield. I think he's really good for that.
He's got a little wiggle to him, too.
Texans have traded with Carolina. They're now on the clock at 88. So
they got to go wide receiver.
I don't know what they have to trade.
Watch them go, Nico. What do they have to trade?
But clearly they try to jump the Titans.
Some Twix bars.
Something.
Titans again are going to be on the clock.
Please
at
hurry.
92. Chris so badly wants him to take somebody that I don't know.
So bad. I mean, seriously, if they say somebody like what was that name? That guy from Colorado, I forgot his name. Let's say Kay Johnson from South Dakota State.
Oh, God.
Would you lose your mind?
What position is he playing?
Wide receiver.
Slot.
No, I'm okay with it. Wait a minute. Is TD okay with it? Do you think he's a good player?
He's a good player.
Okay, I'm fine with it.
If who took him? The Titans?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the Texans right here.
No, Titans.
You know what though? That could be pick 135.
That's what
You know what I mean? In my mock that I did on Talking with TD, I believe I don't remember what pick it was. I had him in the 4th round though.
No matter what, 135 will contribute more to the Titans than Isaiah Wilson did.
You are mean. You're a mean guy.
Oh, my God. I just was thinking about it, right? Like, these guys care about the first round. I mean, they protect everything that has to do with the draft. You can't know anything. It's so secretive. It's so serious.
It's crazy.
And then they take Isaiah Wilson. Like, oh, man. They spend millions of dollars every year on the draft. Like the scouting process, the pro days, the combines, the medical testing, the visits.
Right.
The scouts themselves, the player personnel director. I mean, we're talking millions and millions of dollars. And they draft Isaiah Wilson.
But the thing about it is you don't know if he's going to act like that because a lot of times guys you're auditioning for a job, so
Sure.
you're going to put on your best hat. It's like, no, I can't say that. No, I was going to give a joke, but I ain't going to do it. It's just like if you met Oprah Winfrey.
Where are we going with this?
And she took her makeup off. At first she thought she was cute.
Then she looked like Harpo in color purple.
I wasn't going to go there, but I knew you was going to run with it.
Hey, Tennessee State University legend Oprah Winfrey.
Yeah,
See, man, you're going to get me in trouble. I wasn't.
Hey, she's an Earth legend, man.
And I said that with all respect.
You know what I always used to say? Oprah Winfrey and Mark Howard were the last 2 people hired by the legendary Chris Clark at Channel 5.
No way.
And between us, we're worth over $1 billion.
I like that. I like
I
that.
say that respectfully, man. I feel bad.
What if Oprah is listening right now?
I love you. I love you. A joke for everyone. One for you, one for you. And it looks like Carolina has traded out.
Yeah, Houston's on the clock now.
Yeah, and they got, the compensation, 109, 158.
Here goes Houston.
With the 89th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Houston Texans select Nico Collins, wide receiver, Michigan.
Oh, no. Oh, my goodness. Oh. Take him off the board. Great job by Jack Esterby to outfox John Robinson in the draft. Now I'm just being mean.
You still got Powell there. You got Surratt, Des Fitzpatrick, Anthony Schwartz.
Des Fitzpatrick's not bad. I'll say that. I've dogged Tutu Atwell, from Louisville. Des Fitzpatrick is not bad.
Oh, yeah, Seth
I think
Williams.
Seth Williams from Auburn.
Yeah. Amon-Ra Brown's still there. Another guy, Austin Watkins of UAB, he's a player too now. Explosive,
ain't
strong.
Amari Rogers.
No. Look at this. 6'5", 6'4", 230 doing that.
Why did they throw him the ball more?
Quarterback.
That whole, they just.
The one that's coming to Tennessee?
Joe Milton.
That's a good pick for them.
I agree.
That's a really good pick for them.
It's better than Davis Mills.
Oh, absolutely.
Vikings back on the Vikings have made 13 picks since the Titans have last picked. Vikings on the clock at 90. 2 picks away. Chris Sanders is going to get his wish because I don't know a single player left on the board.
It's going to be Bradman Jordan. Bradman Jordan, Ronnie Perkins. That's what I'm looking at.
There's 2 picks to go between now and then. Maybe they go those 2 picks.
Yeah, but let me ask you a question. I mean, I know they maybe
is it an Oprah-related question or no?
No, would Ronnie Perkins fit the Tennessee Titans scheme? I'm just thinking.
I think he would.
Because you got Autry and you got Dupree, so where would you put him at?
He would be a situational guy.
Here's Minnesota at 90.
With the 90th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Minnesota Vikings select Patrick Jones, defensive end, Pittsburgh.
Oh.
He's gone. Yep. Dang, he's off my board.
John
too.
Robinson, come on now. Cleveland's on the clock here at 91. So here you go off the list we originally had for 85. Here's who's still left. Ronnie Perkins, Tylan Wallace, Rashad Weaver, Quincy Roche, Ellison Smith, Marvin Wilson.
It might be time to make this Perkins pick, man.
Yeah, I agree.
Receiver is still deep.
And they got another pick in this round.
Yeah. And with that, so Cleveland, all right, so we know they'll have either Brevin Jordan or Perkins, right? And then Buffalo, I don't think that they would draft a tight end. Baltimore could be a team that would draft Perkins, Perkins and Jordan. I'm just trying to look at when they go back at 100, what teams would do a tight end.
Is there any tight end TD in this range that isn't Brevin Jordan? Like if he's off, are they out of tight ends?
Trey McKitty.
I think from there you got to go. You go to Trey McKitty. I'll tell you a guy that's interesting. Also, we haven't talked about him. The guy had the nerve to play punter, Zach Davison, out of Central Missouri. He's a 6'7", 240-pound tight end. Also played punter, like I said, but he's a guy you could flex. Have him detached. You could do a lot with him.
Myles Garrett to the podium for the Browns.
With all respect to DMC, I'd like to say this is the Browns town, baby. Here we go, Brownies, here we go. Here we go, Brownies, here we go. Yes, sir, I love to hear it. With the 91st pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns select Anthony Schwartz, wide receiver out of Auburn.
Another one.
What do we think about those?
That's a nice pick, man. Speed kills, man, and he has it in spades, man. And that's a guy, he could play slot too. That's a nice pick, and you could do so much with him, man.
Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, a similar type of weapon, world-class track runner, too.
Yeah, he is.
Titans are on the clock. Elijah, let's take 10 seconds for station identification to get right back to it.
Oh, man. I cannot wait.
Is it Brevin Jordan here?
I think it's Perkins. I think it's Perkins. Well, I think they need to go Perkins.
Let's take 10 seconds for station identification.
Locally owned, WPRT FM Pegram, 97.5 Murfreesboro, WBUZ HD2 Laverne, ESPN, 102.5 The Game.
Titans on the clock. Number 92, Ronnie Perkins is out there. Tylan Wallace out of Oklahoma State, wide receiver, is out there. Rashad Weaver, pass rusher, Pittsburgh, is out there. Quincy Roche, Ellison Smith, Marvin Wilson. Chris Sanders?
Yes, sir.
Where are we going here?
I'm going with tight end. I mean, I kind of was leaning to Ronnie Perkins from Oklahoma, but I just think that the impact player right at this position is Brevin Jordan from Miami. 6'3", 247 speed, runs routes, and he gives you another dynamic weapon for the offense for the Tennessee Titans.
The pick at 92 is in.
With the 92nd pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Tennessee Titans select Monty Rice, linebacker, Georgia.
What? What? Like, what? To play where? The slot?
You said they needed inside backer, didn't you?
Not over Amari Rogers. Like you traded Amari Rogers
He's my ninth ranked
John
middle
Robinson.
linebacker.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh man. Oh, I mean, again, yes, they need depth at inside linebacker, not over Amari Rogers. Oh my God. Oh my God. Who's going to play tight end for this team? Oh, oh my goodness. I can't. I cannot. This is the
Oh
worst.
my God.
I never.
I don't know.
I gotta tell you. You know how Mel Kiper Jr. gives out his draft grades like the Monday after, and everyone gets anywhere from
Oh,
an
my
A
gosh.
to
You should've
like a
shown
B
his face.
plus.
Oh,
F.
my.
Right now, John Robinson gets an F.
I don't know.
F.
You
guys need to stop clapping. You need to stop high-fiving. You guys need to get to work, and you need to go back and get Amari Rogers back. Monty Rice. Oh, my goodness. Oh,
I can't talk you off the bridge here, buddy.
They traded away Amari freaking Rogers, and they got a backup linebacker. Again, Monty Rice may be the next Ray Lewis. I don't know. But
your Bill Cox.
they don't have a tight end. They don't have a slot receiver. Cam Batson is the slot receiver right now. They have 3 middle linebackers. Oh, my. Mark Howard, your thoughts?
Well, I think they got him. He ran a good 40. He ran a 4.58 40.
He said he ran a good 40.
They're gonna say they like him early for special teams.
No.
He could be a good early down linebacker. He didn't even play the passing downs at Georgia, so that was a little perplexing. But a lot of people feel like he's got the speed to do it. And again, you're looking down the road, and Rashawn Evans. Are they going to pick up his option? I don't know.
No,
not
absolutely
bloody
not.
likely.
They
right
are not
now.
going to do that.
Well, right now they're not. But he has a good year. And Jayon Brown, when the market, the market goes back to normal in a year, will probably be moving on.
Well, they're definitely not going to pick up Rashawn Evans' option because they got Monty Rice. I mean, problem solved. Super Bowl. Oh my goodness! Like it wouldn't be so bad if they didn't lose out. If they didn't lose out on Amari Rogers, and they passed on Ronnie Perkins.
Yeah,
And they lost out on Nico Collins. Who's playing tight end for this team?
I'm just a little upset that they passed on the receiver, Amari Rogers. I mean, I'm telling you, that guy can play ball, especially in the slot. I mean, if you have Reynolds, and Amari Rogers in the slot, and you have A.J. Brown, I mean, that's a pretty good wide receiver core. I mean, it's a tough deal, man. I mean, I understand your frustration. I understand you're mad. I'm mad a little bit, but they probably see something. I'm trying to explain
it's okay,
as best
Jared's
as I can.
mad a lot.
I know.
I am just apoplectic at this point. I am just beside my. I mean, I feel like this must be what it feels like to be a fan of the Jets. Like, this is what it feels like.
Come on.
No, man.
I'm telling you, I feel like a Jets fan right now.
Yeah.
Watching Amari. You pass on Amari Rogers for a backup linebacker.
Mired in the futility of an 11-5 season. You're just going down.
Oh, man. What's wrong with Ronnie Perkins? Like, have we figured that one out?
Maybe because they have Autry.
No. I'm not talking about the Titans. I'm talking about everybody. Like, I thought Ronnie Perkins was kind of a bad boy. You know what? You texted them in there. Here's Buffalo on the clock. I need to take a breath.
In the 2021 NFL Draft, the Buffalo Bills select Spencer Brown, tackle, Northern Iowa.
That's a good pick.
How about this nugget from Ross Tucker that Elijah just sent me? New Titans linebacker Monty Rice is on his 3rd agent already.
His 3rd agent.
Oh, he's on his 3rd agent.
Why?
Well,
Why?
listen, at least he doesn't come, from
Why
a
is he on his
school
third
where the
agent?
Titans have had, bad draft picks before.
Their pick from Georgia last year was just perfect. Oh, my goodness. They passed on Amari Rogers to draft Monty Rice, who's on his third agent, at a position where they have 3 players. Again, maybe he's Ray Lewis. I don't know. But right now, if I was Mel Kiper Jr. and I was getting ready to do draft grades, I'd have an F staring down at John Robinson unless he changes it real quickly. I mean, again, who's playing the slot receiver for this team? Who's playing tight end for this team? I mean, I know we can sit here and say, well, you know, they feel they like to draft later. They feel like they can. Like, right now, Anthony Ferkser is the starting tight end of the Tennessee Titans. He is. Now, look, I mean, it's good that he's made his way up off the practice squad. But, like, he was a practice squad guy. And he's the starting tight end.
Remember Xavier Gooden, who the Titans drafted way back. That was another guy. Looked great walking through the airport as a pro linebacker, but when you put him out there, he wasn't there. And again, the Titans, I'm sure, were smitten by by Monty Rice's 40 time, but his work product again. Georgia used him as a 2-down linebacker.
But see, that's what sometimes we get in trouble in the NFL. I'm not a general manager, so I just think differently. Sometimes we think if a guy's just fast and we automatically qualify that he's a great player, and that's not it. He's got to master the skill of being a linebacker, master the skill of being a wide receiver.
You know.
Right. And the thing about it is you got to master your skill. We can't just say, okay, a guy's fast, he's going to make your team better. He's got to be fast. He's got to be instinctive. He's got to, make plays. He's got to, read the quarterback's eyes. He's got to do all those things. And I don't know. I agree with you. He could be the next Ray Lewis. But when you have Amari right there, sitting right there, and you have Tylen Wallace from Oklahoma State that can come in and help you in the receiving corps, I just think it's kind of disappointing that you go for a reach there when you have it in your grasp to get a wide receiver.
All right, let's take a timeout. 6-1. I was about to give out the phone number. We're not taking calls. Let's take a timeout here on the Draft Show, live from Boomboss Craft Pizza and Tap House. And again, our sponsors. And we'll be right back. And we will be infinitely as depressed as we are right now. And I say we. I'm just speaking for me, honestly. Our draft sponsors are Apple Collision Centers, Founders, Freedom Tire Guys, and MTGRT.com.
I'm trying to put stuff together.
I know, you're good.
Patriots are on the clock at 96, then the Chargers, then Denver, then somebody else, then the Titans. It's the 10 o'clock hour. We're having a time mark, Howard. Okay. So the Titans have taken a backup linebacker today, and they've taken a backup offensive lineman, and perhaps punter may be the look here at pick number 100.
Maybe Borregales, man, they get the Miami kicker, man. That's addressing the area of need.
I'll say this. Hey, he'll matter more than Monty Rice is going to matter this year. But that's neither here nor there. I told myself I'd collect myself. What are we thinking, Chris Sanders, as we approach 100? 96 has got to go.
Right.
1, 2, 3. 4 picks have got to go before the I got to pick 96 to 100. Before the Titans are back up on the clock. Do you still think the tight end will be there?
I mean, Bevan Jordan. I mean, he still hasn't gone yet. So we've been talking about him the whole show. It's just surprising that he's still there. So if the Tennessee Titans see that he's there, they better not skip to the podium. They need to do a full sprint to the podium. I mean, it's just that he's an impact player, and you got to get him. You can't let another impact player slide down and go get somebody else that we've never heard about.
Yeah, I think that will, help shore up this third round.
Yeah.
It's almost like they looked at pick 92, and I'm not saying it is what they did, but it's almost like they looked at it as I don't want to say throwaway pick, but as a bonus pick. And
but that's a high third round.
Exactly. That's a high pick. You
said I'd have thought that way with one of the fourth-round picks, but not a third-round pick.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, you got 126 and 135. You could fool around with that a little bit. But third-round pick, man, like you're drafting the guy that will come in and help you immediately third round. I mean, you look at some of the players. Kevin Byard was a third-round pick.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you could get guys in the third round that could help you out right away.
I mean, Chris Sanders is a third-round pick, all-rookie team 1995.
Yeah, thank you there, buds.
Led the league in receiving yards per catch.
9 touchdowns. Keep it going.
But to your point, again, I don't know as much about these guys as you do, TD. I know Amari Rogers can play. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know he can play in the NFL. He may not be a superstar. I know he can play, though. And that's where I'm looking at this dude, are you trying to compete this year, or are you trying to survive a bunch of guys leaving in free agency after this year?
Yeah, but especially with your third round, you want guys that are going to come in and play. I mean, we don't want to start developing. Yeah, you got to develop players, but you want them to come in and be impact and be ready. I mean, look at the first pick. We got Farley. We don't know if he's going to play because of his back. And then
here you go.
Don't tell me something else.
Where's my Pats? Where's my Patriots? I want to take this opportunity to thank Bob Kraft and the Kraft family for making this possible for me to be here tonight. This is great. I want to thank Bill Belichick and his staff for the great things they're doing up in New England. With the 96th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the New England Patriots, 21-time AFC Eastern champions, 11-time AFC champions, 6-time Super Bowl champions, select Ronnie Perkins, defensive end, Oklahoma.
Robinson, what are you doing? You just give all the other teams you have to play all the players. Just give all the players to the other team. Oh, my goodness. But, hey, they got a linebacker from Georgia to be a backup next year, and seriously.
That hurts you, huh? Punch. Why you punch that man?
Somebody called into the show one time and they said, I'd like to watch a Titans game with you. I'm like, I don't think you would.
Nah.
I don't think you guys understand what my dad went through flying back from London after Mike Vrabel stupidly went for 2 against the Chargers and didn't get it.
I think that was the right call, though.
8 hours of throwing the ball at Taywan Taylor.
It was the right call, right decision, bad play call.
I just.
It was a route that was ran that was bad, too.
Well, I mean,
Was it
that
Davis
guy-
fell down? Or I think Davis was the target. He fell down. Marcus was running around like, you. But anywho, I mean, Mark, help me out here. Explain to me Monty Rice over Ronnie Perkins.
All right, Jared, first, get off the ledge. Let's see who the Titans take with their next pick.
Oh, Chris is
I
so
can't
excited.
wait. Oh, my gosh, I can't wait.
If they take
cannot wait.
Weaver, they take another pass rusher.
Yeah, Quincy
then I
Roche.
think- yeah, I mean, we can justify this.
I think I better go to the Pro Bowl.
I don't think there's drop-off from Perkins or Roche, honestly.
The Chargers are on the clock at 97. And here you go.
With the 97th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Los Angeles Chargers select Trey McKitty, tight end, Georgia.
What's going on with Bevan?
Chris Anderson is your tight end.
I think
That's
with Jordan, they're a bit afraid of injury.
Yeah.
You know, he's had his share of injuries.
I'm telling you, this dude's a dog now.
He absolutely is. He could mess around and go to the Saints or Dallas right here. But they're afraid of that. And, I mean, he didn't test that well. I know he's not concerned about that.
Yeah.
And that's something that he kind of takes personally. But, you know, they do put that into the picture. And here you go seeing McKitty at Florida State. Yeah. Now at Georgia. He was impressive in one-on-ones at the Senior Bowl, man. Made a couple one-handed catches that opened my eyes. You like the little stiffy?
Yeah, but I like his eyes running routes.
Denver's pick is in. Dallas next, and then the Titans. And Elijah, please have your hand on the button. Back at the Wholesale Inc. Studios, powered by RumbleOn.com.
Oh,
Chris Sanders
yes.
probably should get his camera ready.
Oh, it's ready. It's ready.
We got the camera right there.
Right there.
That's my camera.
I'm
Get me fired, but who knows? I've always said that I'll never let my son root for the Titans if I have one.
Stop it.
Oh man.
But man, you still got Bevan Jordan available. So what if the Titans get Bevan Jordan, would you be happy?
You should be.
I'd be more happy if they had Amari Rogers.
Oh my goodness.
Here's what I honestly would be okay with at this point. If they took one of the corners that's still available, like Melifonwu or Elijah Molden, because then I would like the corner depth a lot more. Like, I still don't like the depth at corner right now on the team, even if Farley is okay. I'd like maybe another body in there. I like it better than fourth string middle linebacker. Here's Denver. Who's doing the picking for Denver? TD, is there somebody that you look at right now that you just say, hey, this is who they should take?
Reverend Jordan.
Yeah. And you know they love tight ends. Shannon Sharp. You know they love tight ends.
Here's Denver.
With the 98th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Denver Broncos select Quinn Miners, guard, Wisconsin Whitewater.
Not a bad pick, Teron. Quinn Miners, Wisconsin Whitewater to Denver at 98.
T3.
That dude, yeah, Division III school, but I tell you what, he held his own. I keep talking about Onsarike. Senior Bowl, they were going at it. And that dude was like,
He's athletic.
He was folding up those tackles like a banquet chair, man. I'm telling you, he
Yeah.
And you see, just he's raw.
Looks like
you know
Paul
what I mean?
Bunyan.
He's raw, but he's tough too. He broke his hand down there at the Senior Bowl. He actually got into an argument with one of the coaches because he wanted to go back and keep practicing. You know what I mean? Because he understood what was in front of him.
But don't you want one of those guys on your team?
Absolutely.
I mean, that's just crazy. I mean, I'm not saying he's like John Runyon. John Runyon will just run through your face and don't even care. But when you have somebody like that on your team, like a Lawan too, he just makes your team better. Not just because he does crazy stuff, but he just brings an edge to your team. Yes.
Yeah, it's the mindset.
I just put the link to the Periscope. I said Titans one pick away from the clock, and if they make another stupid one, I might lose my mind on camera.
I cannot wait. You got the camera. Get your cameras ready.
I mean, what do we think Dallas who cares what Dallas does here? Just don't take
So
a tight
McKinney's
end.
gone.
Just don't take Brevin Jordan.
You have to take him.
I think they have to go defense if you're Dallas. But then again, who cares what Dallas does? TD, how would you feel about Tylan Wallace at wide receiver with this pick?
I wouldn't be mad at that because it gives you a guy that, like I said, he plays above the rim. You have him out there on the outside, and he can make things happen. He could play a little slot for you, too. A little nugget on him. He plays center field. He was a really good center fielder, and anybody that is good at center field, you clearly have the ability to track the football well, and that's something that he does. Grew up, was a fan of Des Bryant, You see some of that in his game as far as like the toughness and being able to get yards after the catch. That dog, he's the guy when the ball's in the air, it's his, and he believes that. It's the 80-20 rule, you know what I mean? Not 50-50.
I can't tell you how old it makes me feel to hear it. He grew up watching Des Bryant.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. But he plays angry. I mean, he's one of those guys that when he catches the ball, he's not trying to fall down. He's trying to run through your face. And that's the kind of guy you want. He's tough. He's pretty good at route running. And the yards after the catch makes him a special receiver.
Mm-hmm. That's it, man.
These fans on this couch drive me nuts. Here we go, Dallas on the clock.
Let's see where they go here.
With the 99th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Dallas Cowboys select Nashawn Wright, defensive back, Oregon State.
Okay, I don't know anything about him, but that's okay. Titans are on the clock.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Here we go. If they don't take a wide receiver or a tight end, I am going to go nuts.
What about a pass rusher?
Yeah, what about pass rusher?
Okay. I'm okay with pass rusher. PD, who are the good pass rushers for them to take here?
You got Rashad Weaver, Quincy Roche. Ellerson Smith is still there. I think this is a good spot for Roche and Weaver, though. Those are good options. And Weaver is a guy, I like him because he could play the run really well, too. You know what I mean? And he's a strong guy coming off the edge. He could get down and line up as a lineman, too. And they used him on stunts and things like that, which I think will work well, especially with, Danico Autry, and Bud Dupree on the opposite side.
I mean, there's some other DNs. You got Hayes from Notre Dame. You got Tony from Penn State. So there's two guys that can come in and contribute.
Yeah.
Man.
Wow. Pick is in.
I have never yelled at somebody.
Okay, let me watch it. You got your camera.
I mean, I might have to get into the John Robinson press conference today and just say, what were you thinking?
I can't wait.
But then again, he won't tell you what he was thinking.
But I got a feeling this is going to be a wide receiver, man.
Oh, they go to commercial? Oh, no. Oh, no. My goodness.
You got the pick. You got it.
Oh, man. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it until I hear it because I need to react in live time. Elijah, would you please leave our mics up back at the station when this pick is made?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Oh,
This is one where I don't want to see. I don't want to know. I don't want any idea.
Oh, that's good.
Don't be doing anything to get me all worked up. I don't want to know. I want to know when they say it. I want to hear it in live time. Mark Howard, what do we think with this pick?
I want pass rusher.
You ain't gonna be mad about this one.
Don't tip it. TD, who's the best pass rusher on the available for the
I
Titans?
think Quincy Roche is the best pass rusher.
I can't believe ESPN just went to break. Mel's team
just
needs.
don't look at my screen, okay?
I will not look at your screen. Mel's top available. Oh, man.
Oh.
Please not somebody bad. That's all I ask.
You'll be happy, dog.
See, you guys are tipping the picks. Now I feel
I'm not tipping the pick.
No.
I'm just telling you your emotion.
Oh, man. Mark, sometimes you have to let it roll naturally.
Of course.
I'm sure you in all those years with Frank just had to let it roll sometimes.
We did.
Or like that time that Blaine and Paul got into it. You just got to let it roll.
That was a very interesting experience.
What happened?
Of course.
We'll talk about it off air.
I'm being nosy here.
I don't need to relive that.
Man, that was something. I'll tell you. I mean, and I've had my fair share of dust-ups, but, man,
it was authentic.
That was – you sounded like a parent in it, like, hey, guys, it's okay. All right, stop.
Not to leave the audience out, but Paul Koharski and Blaine Bishop
oh my
had an
gosh.
on-air dust-up
I heard
on
that.
Oh, my God.
When I was at the other place. And it got a lot of attention.
Koharski got into it with Wesley Woodyard.
I saw that.
Wesley Woodyard was ready to jump into his body, right? And they were arguing, and wasn't Darren Bates of all people saved it, right? And so Wesley Woodyard was like, I gotta go, I gotta get to practice. He walked over to the door, leaving the practice field. I mean, the locker room.
Yeah.
And
all right, here we go, T.D. We got to hold up on that thought.
With the 100th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Tennessee Titans select Elijah Molden. Defensive back, Washington.
Yes! Not a terrible pick.
That's a good pick.
Oh, my God. I thought they were going to do something stupid.
This is a good pick.
And
it is
you
a very good
can never
pick.
have enough corners. You can never have enough. And I thought Molden was a second-round guy.
Yeah.
So this I like. It doesn't make up for the linebacker they took, but this pick I like. TD, I know you've been on Elijah Molden for a while.
Yeah, this is a name I've been mentioning quite a lot, you know, and when you look at him, the thing I love about him is the versatility. You can play him as nickel. He can play single high, come off that post and show you range there. He's a guy that will come up and tackle, as you see right there. The thing that I like about him is he turns the football over, right? And that's something that you always need. And right on cue, what do you see him doing? Undercutting the route and picking it off. I think, you know, when you look at him, I had all of the Washington guys on at the same time. Joe Tryon, Levi Onwuzurike, Elijah Molden, and Keith Taylor. They all, the Titans met with them a lot, but he said specifically that their meetings were really good.
Yeah.
He loved what they did. He was able to tell me how they attack on defense and those type of things. This is a good match.
I agree.
And I think this right here offsets the Monty Rice pick, in my opinion.
Yeah, and he's scrappy. I mean, you watch the way he plays. I mean, he plays scrappy, and he plays just plays with a motor that you can't teach. I mean, and that's what you want in the slot position. The only thing I'm concerned about is what are they going to do with Fulton?
It's all right.
What are they going to do with him?
I know you have enough corners.
You could never have enough, and you could play them all. And this also gives you the luxury.
That's okay. We'll skip it.
Yeah, it also gives you the luxury of not having to play Caleb Farley immediately.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, like last year, they thought they were good at corner, and they ended up the first game of the year with Chris Jackson.
Yeah.
And did you ever play against Alex Molden?
No.
That's his dad.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, Chargers, I believe it was. Who did he play? Saints, Chargers, and Lions.
Fitu Melifonwu goes to the Lions at 101, so it looks like we're seeing a run on the corners.
See, but I now am incredulous.
What does that mean?
That we've gone 3 rounds. We've gone, 4 picks. No receiver, no pass rusher, no tight end.
Oh, man. Now Mark just brought me right back down. I mean, the man makes a good point.
Yeah, he does.
Who is starting at tight end for this team?
Ferkser.
Oh, my goodness.
But see, we're going to find out the identity of the Tennessee Titans. See, we know it's run first, so it's not going to be a big deal if Ferkser catches a pass or not.
No, but having a tight end that can block is kind of part of the equation.
Yeah, true.
Oh, my goodness.
We'll get it in the undrafted. That's what they always do.
Well, so Joe Rexrode wrote an article at The Athletic, and I just thought it was, I even criticized it at the time. I told Joe I thought that the article was, I thought he misled people kind of with like the premise of the article or the tweet that led to the article, in which was like, the Titans don't feel like they need a wide receiver because they have Nick Westbrook-Akina. And I'm like, what? Wait a minute. What? I'm like, wait a minute. The guy that I watched in practice not catch the ball, that's the guy that they feel okay with. And
he made a nice catch on that comeback route.
On the fake punt?
Yeah.
In all seriousness, Joe's sourcing might have been pretty good, and they might literally be looking at us and saying, Oh, yeah, no. Nick Westbrook-Akina is going to be the slot receiver this year for the Titans. Because I don't know what they're doing or what they're thinking. And then the worst part about it is to watch them celebrate in the draft room when they take their backup linebacker from Georgia like, we got him. Like, I don't know. Ambry Thomas, corner Michigan to the 49ers. Oh, my goodness. Chris Sanders, your thoughts?
Nothing. Nothing. No. I mean, seriously, on a serious note, I really do like the last pick. I mean, Elijah Molden is going to come in here and do a great job, but I know you're still mad about the Rice pick. I mean, I know you're really disappointed, but at the end of the day, you know, the Tennessee Titans have done their homework, and I think the guys that they picked and they felt was a good fit for them. And I know you're like, what? Why? But even though we may have a why, they did their homework, and they feel like these guys are a good fit for their team. That's good. That's good coach talk right there, baby. That's great coach talk. That's beautiful coach talk.
I can't get over what Mark Howard just said. They went into the draft. What are the needs? Corner, wide receiver, pass rusher, tight end. What have they done? Corner, yeah. Everything else, no. Oh, man.
Yeah, but look at the offseason. I mean, I know I'm trying to be positive here, man.
What do you think? A pass rusher's going to parachute in?
Yeah, but we got Dupree, right? We got Dupree, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if how healthy he's going to be. how healthy? You're killing me, Petey. You're killing me, Petey. I'm trying to be positive, man. But
oh my goodness.
I'm telling you, these guys might come and just be Pro Bowlers. You just never know.
I have to say this. I've always thought that people who overreact during the draft are stupid. And here I am today, man, and I am on one. Oh,
you really are.
I really am. I think 20 hours of radio over 2 days might do that to you. I don't know.
Boy.
It's like I don't even remember. Like, I don't even feel like I'm on the radio anymore. The fact that I haven't cursed in the last hour is pretty amazing. Not that I ever do that. Anyways. Oh, man. I can't tell you, man. I got to say this. And I know that I overreact a lot and that I say some crazy stuff, and I get it. I mean, like, I honestly think that the Titans may be pushing a D right now for the draft. And I hate draft grades. I mean, I really think, like, D-, if I were to be honest. Like, I really do think D-, given everything that they absolutely have to have and that they don't have right now. I mean,
it's the most meaningless grade during a
it
football
is.
season.
It is.
And I instruct you to look back at past post-draft grades and see how everybody actually did.
Well, look at the Seattle draft with Bobby Wagner and Russell Wilson. They gave it an F. And Bruce Irvin.
Right.
I didn't even think they gave Fs out during the draft.
But see,
Bleacher Report did.
But see, here's the thing too: is if you look at in the past how New England would draft people that you don't know, but then those guys that they draft become some spectacular players and they're role players. So even though we might not know the names and really not know much about them, these guys have done their homework. They've done their homework and they studied and they say, okay, you know, even though this kid is not a big name, he fits our scheme on defense, he fits our scheme on offense, and he fits the mold and the character and the culture of the team. So, you know, even I know that's good coach talk, but that's how we think.
They did their homework last year. They got a guy who played 4 snaps. I mean, like, I'm sorry. Like, can I just say that? It's very hard to be a Titan fan right now. Like, sometimes I wish I could just be like TD and be, like, straight up neutral and just tell it like it is and just report and, like, that be my job. And in all seriousness, that probably should be my job. But
no, I think that's you know, funny story, Jared. My 15-year-old daughter was listening to you today, and she was like, "Wow, who is that guy? I love how he gets so into it." So that's a positive, you know. I got a 15-year-old. I have a 15-year-old girl.
Very nice
I said daughter. You know what I mean? Was listening, and that's what she said.
Well, I appreciate that. It's very, very nice of her.
I said, oh, yeah, he's all right.
You know, because one of the greatest criticisms heaped on JR is last year's draft class. And ultimately, Darrington Evans could end up being a good back.
Oh, sure. Oh, yeah.
Fulton could end up, being a starter at corner, we hope. And the rest of the guys in that draft class, really for the most part, could end up being useful players for him. But they didn't get anything out of them last year. And that's just that just lends itself, to calling last year a little bit of a fluke.
At 103, the Rams go Ernest Jones, linebacker at South Carolina. I'm surprised the Titans did not pick him with pick number 100. I'm sorry. Oh, my goodness. John Robinson is never coming on the radio show ever again.
Not with you.
No. Oh, my goodness. Ravens at 104, the pick is in. I will say this. I don't think the 2020 class is lost yet. But it is disappointing that Chris Jackson probably had the best rookie season of any Titan rookie last year. That's the stuff. Like that stuff just can't keep happening, And I mean, John Robinson, and I like John Robinson. I think he's done a decent job drafting, not tonight, but just in general. But you can't keep declining fifth-year options. I mean, at some point, that's gotta stop.
And that's the problem. That's why they have this issue with depth and all of that. You know what I mean?
Let's take a quick timeout, and then we'll wrap the show up with our final draft thoughts. I almost said Stillman and Company. The draft show live from Boomba's Craft Pizza and Tap House out here in East Nashville. Special thanks to them, by the way. Special thanks to them for having us as well. And our draft sponsors, let me just say this. Our draft sponsors are MTGRT.com, Apple Collision Centers, Freedom Tire Guys, and Founders Brewing. It's the Draft Show on ESPN 102.5. The Game. It is the Draft Show live from Boomba's Craft Pizza and Tap House in East Nashville, where the Tennessee Titans and the round is done for the day. The Titans' Elijah Molden, I thought, was a pretty decent pick to make up for a somewhat, I guess a lot of people are saying, disappointing day. Our draft sponsors, MTGRT.com, Apple Collision Centers, Freedom Tire Guys, and Founders Brewing. Mark Howard, Chris Sanders.
Yes, sir.
We'll start with you, Mark. The linebacker from Georgia was kind of the
Monty
questionable
Rice,
pick.
yeah.
Monty Rice was the one I think that a lot of people looked at. They enter tomorrow. They added a 4th-round pick, but there are still some big gaps on this team to fill.
Oh, no question about it. And that's why you can't go too overboard on what we've seen so far. The Titans have a lot of picks left. They got, 2 in the 4th, 1 in the 5th, 2 in the 6th, and 1 in the 7th. So, they're in pretty good shape as far as that's concerned. And all I can say is, you don't do your celebrating on draft day.
Right.
You do it during the fall.
Yeah, listen, I know everybody was disappointed about the Monty Rice, but the thing about it is I think they did a good job by coming back with Elijah Molden. I mean, he's a good cornerback. He's going to come in and play in the slot. But overall, the only thing that I was just concerned about was the first draft pick, in the first round, was Farley. Because the uncertainty, the understanding that, we understand he's a good player and he's probably the best cornerback in the draft, but I can't get over not knowing if he's going to be healthy for the season.
Well, Farley says he's going to be ready for camp, so we'll see.
Yeah, but see, we can. Our mind is going to say that, but then when your body starts actually going through it, it's totally different. And everybody's different, and everybody heals different. I know you said technology's different. Both you guys are correct. But when you're dealing with a back injury, you lose every time you have a surgery. You're going to lose some of the strength in your back, and your muscles are not going to recover. So that's the only thing that I'm kind of concerned about.
What do we think about, and I've said this about 15 times, but I think it's worth saying, what are they going to do in the slot at wide receiver?
Well, talk to us 24 hours from now, and maybe we'll have a better idea. Again, you can sit there and play Chicken Little, and I know that you kind of do this for dramatic effect sometimes, which makes it entertaining. But you've been around the block a few times. It could change on a dime tomorrow. If they take 2 receivers, suddenly you're happier. They take 2 pass rushers. I'm just surprised that they've gone 3 rounds without addressing 3 of their major needs. We'll see if they do tomorrow.
I would say yes, except that normally I usually don't get excited about day 3 picks. Because when a day 3 pick hits, it still usually takes a little bit of time. Derek Mason, a 4th-round pick who took a couple of years, and some because he was buried on the depth chart, and some because he probably needed to develop. But it takes time on these day 3 picks. That's why, going back to the Monty Rice pick, and maybe Monty Rice, that was the spot where he was pegged, and maybe he'll take over for Rashawn Evans and be a better middle linebacker than Rashawn was. But, you need a guy to come in and play slot receiver. I don't know that you can bank on a guy in the 4th round to come in and be slot receiver. And then we go back to pass rusher where, last year we thought that they needed to go pass rusher in the draft, and they didn't. And then they didn't get anything out of their free agent signings pass rusher. And then this year we thought definitely have to go pass rusher. They're banking and no depth behind it. That is very concerning right now from where I sit, Chris.
Yeah, you're right, and I said that earlier. I am concerned about Dupree because the position that he plays. He's a guy that attacks the football. He attacks the quarterback, and he's constantly making misdirection moves. So when you're coming off an ACL, I don't know if his knee is going to handle that because the thing about it is, at his position, when you're twisting and turning, you got to have that low bend, and you hurt your ACL late in the season. I just don't think he's going to be ready. And I'm not playing God or anything, but just looking at what his position is, and you tore ACL, that's just concerning to me.
What do we think they do tomorrow, Chris Sanders?
I mean, you just like what Mark said, you got to address the needs that you have, and I think they have to go find a receiver. I mean, Tylen Wallace is still available. You got Shi Smith from South Carolina. You got Cade Johnson from South Dakota State. You're going to have to figure out and get a slot receiver. You're going to have to. I mean, you got Josh Reynolds on the outside. You got A.J. Brown on the outside. You got to find a guy inside that's going to make those choice routes and make plays inside the slot.
Mark, your kind of keys for tomorrow.
You know, we sit there and we see a team like the Panthers sort of draft in logical order in terms of what they need. You know, they had Sam Darnold. They strengthened their offensive line, went out and got a receiver and all that. With the Titans, it hasn't been so simple. But I agree with Chris, and it wouldn't surprise me if they don't end up with a tight end, that they just they maybe sign one as an undrafted. But I think you're going to get 2 wide receivers, 1 pass rusher, or 2 pass rushers and 1 receiver.
Chris, any idea on the wide receiver you have an eye on in the 4th round?
Tylen Wallace. I mean, he's still available. I mean, he's 5'11", 194. He's a tough kid. He can go over the middle and catch the balls and run those choice routes. So if he's available and he's there, then I think the Tennessee Titans have to take him. I mean, that's a steal. I mean, that's basically a steal if you're getting him in the 4th round. So I think if he's there, the Titans got to definitely not skip to the podium. They need to fly to the podium because that's a great value pick for that round.
Meanwhile, TD is with his ESPN responsibilities as the Titans are having press conferences right now. But I want to thank him.
That's my guy.
I want to thank you, Chris Sanders.
Appreciate you, man.
I thought you guys were fantastic. Mark Howard, of course. You guys have been fantastic the last 2 days, dealing with the emotional state of Jared Stillman during the NFL draft.
Enjoyed it.
I want to thank everybody out here. Michael Pope out here. Elijah Campbell back in the studio. Max Hers yesterday. Caroline Fenton. Everybody that's been out here. And, Caroline has to deal with it every single day, but definitely really, really appreciate all of that. I thought it was a fun 2 days, guys.
Oh, it really was.
I thought it was a fun 2 days. And it's funny watching it the way we did because really today it just kind of turned into the 4 of us watching the draft together and talking about whatever. And hopefully all of you enjoyed it. But you think about kind of where we all were last year at our homes by ourselves, watching the draft. And the last 2 nights we've been in, full restaurants. And it's just very refreshing, I think. And you know what? The one thing I'll say about it, and I've always said this about draft picks, you have no idea.
You have no idea.
And I know I say, this Monty Rice might be the next Ray Lewis, and I'm obviously joking. But, I mean, he might be. Like Cortland Finnegan was taken in the 7th round, and he was a great Titan. So, the Titans traded down in 96, and with that trade down, they got Eddie George and John Runyon, 2 All-Pros. So, that's not to say that these guys don't know what they're doing. I am very perplexed by what they've done, but, the draft grade is not a real grade. It obviously will be graded out on the Sundays. Everybody have a safe weekend. You guys enjoy the rest of the draft as well.
Appreciate
Thank
you,
you guys for coming out. That's it for us. We are out of here. Full reaction, 2 o'clock Monday. I will be reacting to ESPN 102.5 The Game.